What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Carlotta Show. It's early morning. Y'all got me missing my Leave It to Beaver. You know what? You guys, welcome. I said I was going to have a short chat today before I go on my cruise. Okay, so I'm excited. I'm heading to my first cruise, and of course, it would be a Maxwell cruise, right? But I am excited about this cruise, even though it seems like Maxwell is Maxwell having like I'm always laughing about Maxwell's approach to things is funny to me. I'm always like, because I'm a customer service girl, because I'm always cracking up. I spent a lot of my years working, doing customer service, managing customer service, and managing retail. And so it's always funny to me. I'm always laughing. Their celebrity, the whole celebrity world's approach to their things. It's so funny to me. So I'm laughing because I'm like, gosh, we're excited about the cruise, but are you? I don't know. But okay. It's so funny. I mean, you know what? I think I laugh. I say he's an air sign, so it's always like on to the next, because I was looking on his page and he's like deleted all his Instagram things, and now there's like this thing up there for Japan and and three things about Urban Hang Suite recordings. I'm like, I mean, recording to say, what you thought of Urban Hang Suite. It's just hilarious. I don't know if I know he probably doesn't do his own social media, but usually I always tell people the head, no matter what, even if you don't, as a celebrity, do your own stuff or the head, everything falls from the head. So I always laugh. So whatever is they probably tend to hire people in their energy. So that is hilarious to me. I just, I'm like, it's hello. Are you having a cruise? Is it still happening? Air signs, hilarious. All right, you guys. Yeah, so I'm excited about this cruise. Yeah, I am. I think I'm overpacked. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got all my outfits done the other day. They're done. They're ready. They're waiting and ready. I packed them. I'm already packed, mostly. It took me a week to pack. I mean, shit. Okay. And then I bought some fun goodies for some of my girls that I know, some of my girls. And so I'm excited about that because I know some Maxwell girls, and I bought them some little because it's Valentine. It's really a Valentine's Day, you know, thing. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get some of the girls I met something nice. And so I had to pack that. And so, it's like, and then, all the people are warning me, everybody was telling me to buy a stool. So I'm just in my head, I'm thinking, should I bring this stool? I'm going back and forth in my head. Should I bring a stool that they were saying during concerts because they have like up front, I guess it's just standing. And I'm like, these are listen, yo, I had to laugh about that too because I was like, funny because it's he's a you're what are you? How old are you? I mean, because it's mostly older. Probably he has mostly an older crew to me, and so I'm like, why would you have just stay? But yeah, so they were telling me bring a stool, like those little portable stools. I was like, really? That's gonna take up space. I'm already three luggages in. Two, because you know what? I have to have more than one outfit. Shit. Okay. Dang. Because in case I always have to have a backup or two. And then plus, I won't be as, it won't be as heavy as, when I get there. And plus, I'm arguing right now with this particular company because I have the skirt. I've been wanting, it's a dream. I love the skirt. And this company, they sent it to had it sent next day, and it got delayed, and I'm like, what the hell? No, no, this is not what we're gonna do. This was supposed to be here Monday. So I was like, okay, we're gonna have to send it to the hotel because we're not playing. We're gonna have to send that's where we're gonna have to send it. And so I had it sent to the hotel because I'm like, listen, I want the skirt. I want it. Send it. Okay, so I'm like, you know what? Wow. So all this stuff, I got so much going on. And my friends always laugh at me. I was having a conversation with some of my friends. We had a little group because sometimes we get on the phone and have little group talks and stuff. And he's like, "You're so you can when you want shit done, you get so control." I said, "I sure do." The Scorpio comes out, ram. I want my stuff, and hopefully they get it there. I'm just hoping, okay. But yeah, so that trying to get that and trying to get ready, trying to make sure I don't forget anything. Just even this morning, that's why I said I'm only having a short chat with you guys because even this morning I have to go get my eyebrows and stuff done. This girl got to look, have her eyebrows done. But and I had my nails done yesterday with my nail girl. They're cute, nothing to rat. It's just French. I did French because I don't know what color I'm wearing. But yeah, and I'm a plain girl. I'm very conservative, so I like French nails. So yeah, that's what I've done. Yeah, so I am getting ready, and I have to leave early morning, but I'm good. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the trip. I I am pretty, yeah. So it's like one of those days. So I'm hoping to get things done just early, for myself. So I'm heading out early later on. Early for me. Early. No, it's not really early for me. It's kind of late for me. So to get a couple of things, get my eyebrows, go get a couple of things, and then yeah, I'm settled. I'm done. I'm done. I try, you know what? I have anxiety before trips, so I try not to. I'm learning to do things ahead of time so I don't have as much anxiety, but I still have anxiety this one. And so I'm always trying to figure, ways to calm the anxiety, calm the nerves. What is giving me the anxiety? What is taking me aback or something like that, and deal with that energy. I'm learning to ground myself in that. But yeah, this trip, I have extra. I've been having a little, not in a good way, but it's like, I don't like that feeling, anxiousness. So yes, I'm just trying to deal with that. But here's the wonderful thing about this. Wait a minute, hold on. Okay, yeah, this cruise. You know, um, I don't know. I don't know I think that I learned some valuable lessons about it. I think, you know what I'm saying about cruises. I didn't know all this stuff. When I was at the hairdresser, because my hairdresser, she does hair on Sundays. And so when I was at the hairdresser Sunday, some of the ladies were telling me about cruises, things that I did not know. Like they were looking at me strange because I was like, drink package. I'm not spending $300. They're like, you don't drink that much. I was like, y'all drink like that? They was like, yeah. I was like, really? And they was like, oh, you don't know about the drink. So they were informing me how this whole cruise would go. I was like, oh my God, really? I was like, no, I think I'm more like a soda juice girl. They laughed so hard. I mean, I was like, "What?" I mean, I probably have more than less than 3 drinks the whole time I'm there. They're like, "Really?" So I realized that, okay, yeah, I'm really kind of a nerd and not a partier. So yeah, that's funny. And I was like, yeah, I'm there to see the concerts. Enjoy, like, the scenery, I guess, where we go. Really, I just me, I don't need to drink like that. That's just me. Okay. But yeah, apparently I am not, I'm in the list. I mean, that's not a thing. So yeah, funny on that note. All right. All right. So let me get into y'all. It's a word real quick. Okay. So it's a word this week is for you guys. Something I'm just noticing about people, just how we live our lives, different things, all of us. And I always say pay attention to the details, the small things. It's the small, I love the scripture. It's the small foxes that spoil the vines. Sometimes it's the little things that we don't see, little things when we're at our jobs or at our workplaces or at and just in our everyday lives. Sometimes we're so focused on big things that we forget the little things that make you have the make bring you to the big things. We forget that if we're going to lose weight or if we're going to no matter how you do it, we forget that you have to pay attention to the little things. Is paying attention to your diet, exercise, things like that. But it's always, or if you're at your workplace and you have a spreadsheet to do, and it's little things to get to make that spreadsheet important that you have to remember. When we forget the little things or when we overlook the little things, uh, it is when we make a lot of mistakes, and we don't realize how those mistakes connect us all. Little things. I was just like, I was out the other day and I was running errands. And I mean, I was noticing just how, even me, sometimes I get impatient on the road, but I just was noticing how people were driving erratic, fast, crazy. I mean, it was just not realizing that, hey, this little thing of you're trying to get to a big thing, whether it's to work or pick up your kids or whatever, but not understanding that the little things that it takes to get you there. You need safe driving, you need this and that. And so many people, we are so rattled in our energy, in our spirit, that we are just rat racing and we don't understand. I always tell people this. I say there is an important component to being spiritually sane, spiritually having your mind intact, spiritually um, being in a good space for yourself. It's so important. I can't tell y'all, because when we let our spirit man get rattled from the day to day, we tend to sometimes make tragic mistakes, tragic decisions, I mean, trust me on this, where it's in all of our lives, whether that is like, I always often look at certain times when people have huge crazy car accidents or different things that didn't need to happen. A lot of times people have had erratic energy leading up to that space. Like, and doesn't have to be drinking and driving. I'm talking about people who are just erratic in their everyday lives. They're not seeing that the world is pushing them into to being erratic. And so you might get up every day, even with people who leave their children in the car. I know people hate that and people be judgmental and stuff like that. I don't think that's a crazy thing nowadays that people do that. And let me tell you why. You might think you can't do it, but that's because you might be in your right mind and grounded. But a lot of people are living erratically today. They're rushing to work in the morning. They're rushing to this and that. And if you're not used to doing something like taking your kid to work or taking your kid to school or something like that, and you're the parent and it happens to fall on, but you have patterns every day that you set, and you're and how your mind perceives those patterns. I see how people can do that. They get out the car, they're rushing to their job because they're not conscious. And they're just trying to get to the next phase and not saying, and then they forget it, and it'd be 3 hours later and they'd be like, oh my God, and then they run out. Because we are living in such a pressure cooker in this world, such erratic thoughts and things. So what I'm telling you guys today is remember the little things, but also remember one of the little things in life that we can all remember is to calm our spirit, man, to get grounded in ourselves, because so that we can spiritually be conscious of things going on around us, because we affect each other. I mean, when people are driving fast to work and stuff, are driving fast up on you and everything like that, they have to hit you. You don't realize you affected my life. Are you affecting another person's life? If you have a wreck and somebody gets hurt, you're affecting their life. Or if their car gets messed up and that's their only way to work, you're affecting them. So be conscious of the world and things around you. Don't let being so erratic, when you find yourself that you're always disorganized, you're always running around, you're always, and sometimes I find myself in that space, you have to calm that down because it will start to affect so many areas. Okay. And it will start affecting your spirit, man, and it will start affecting your consciousness and how you need to be in the world. And so that's what I said. I remember watching was it Breaking Bad? I think I forget that name of the guy about the old guy that was a drug dealer. I think it's Breaking Bad. Watching that show, and there was an interesting part in this show, and it was the guy had not to tell y'all the story, but if you it's an old series of it. If you haven't seen it, sorry for spoiling this particular episode, but this particular episode, the guy who's a drug dealer, his crony or his little sidekick was going with a girl who was kind of making the selling drugs and everything difficult for him. He's just she was making it so much more difficult. And so he comes to the house to find that, look for his crony guy or sidekick guy, and the sidekick guy is messy. Him and her are in the bed, they're drugged out, they're messed up and everything. So he finds both of them like they're just they're in overdose mode. And so he decides that he's gonna leave the girl. He knows the girl is probably in trouble. And he decides, you know what, this is a good time to just let her ass die, because she won't interfere with my business. And she'll start interfering with him and he'll be more focused. Not understanding that doesn't just affect his business, right? His whole decision to kill this girl starts a whole crazy thing, right? So when he's at his home, the next scene is he's at his, I think I forget, or a few scenes later, he's at his home outside by the pool, and what he doesn't realize is a couple of things happen. Her father, who has been, who's kind of got he's an air traffic controller. He has a nice life and everything, but he's been concerned about his daughter and everything. He comes to look for her, finds that his daughter has died of an overdose. It takes him in a tailspin. He has to leave work for a while because it's, his daughter has passed away. But now, wait a minute. So meanwhile, after a few months, this guy who's the air traffic controller decides to go back to work. He decides, I'm going to go back, take my ass back to work. And he's not ready, really. But he thinks he is. Okay? Again, understanding how everybody is affected by everybody. So meanwhile, the guy who killed the daughter, let the daughter die, rather, is sitting out in his pool one day. And suddenly a plane crash happens. I hate, God, but plane crash happens above above, and some pieces of the plane fall in his yard or whatever. Now, how does it go back to this guy? This guy is the guy who let that man's daughter die. But that man who went back to work too early is the guy who's controlling, he's the air traffic controller, and he's controlling this plane. And because his mind is not really there, he makes a tragic mistake and forgets to tell the planes that they're in the vicinity of each other. And boom. Okay, I hate to use that, but such a great thing to say what I'm saying today. Little things, okay? That man didn't realize by letting that man's daughter die, you cause that man to go into a tailspin. And what he does in his work is very important. And that man making a decision to go back to work when he wasn't ready affected the lives of hundreds of people. That's why I always tell people, pray when you're going somewhere. Pray for your destinations. Pray for that you get places safely. You pray that you get, because people be, the enemy be out here trying to take your destination. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So, but yes. So you affect how everything you do today, even if it's a little thing, even if it's little, when your job telling you to do them little annoying things, well, those things affect the overall business. Little things are important. Or today when you're at work and let's say you're at a customer service job. I used to have to remember this because customer service is one of the hardest jobs in the world, dealing with people, because it's an energy drain, And so one of the things I used to always try to remember and make my staff, people or people that I was working with, remember, is that smile today, because you might be the only smile somebody get. You might be the only encouragement for somebody the whole day, and you're selling. So you sometimes I would take that. I remember when I was working at this one particular job, we just take it because we coming in there in the morning, we like, but I had to realize how important, like every day, like I would always get reminded, especially when one part of the job we sold tickets for Ticketmaster, and I remember uh, sometimes I have those regular ticket sales. I have to be there real early. And this is when back in the day when y'all would go and stand in line for tickets and stuff like that. And I had to remember how much how I responded to people would affect them. And I would drive up, and I see a long line. I'd be like, oh shit, this is how this day gonna go. Like it'd be around the corner for a show or something like that. So what I sometimes didn't realize, I'm coming in the morning, I've just woken up, you know what I'm saying, and about an hour ago, where these people have been in line half the night. And some people, we started doing lottery systems, but some people will still be in line like half the night there and stuff like that. So sometimes what I had to remember is how important my little self. I got to sleep through the night. They out here trying to see their favorite people. Okay, so I need to have sometimes, even though I don't feel like it, a better disposition. Talk to them, laugh. Oh yeah, we're gonna try to get you the best. Blah 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 blah. And what I loved about my particular group that we worked when we worked these concerts. Now if you was rude or you was terrible, you was gonna get. I don't care if you was front in line. You was gonna get some bad. Your tickets was gonna be across the, up in the nose, because we didn't play that. And people love coming to our particular spot because people say y'all the fastest, y'all be moving, y'all don't be playing. Everybody gets good tickets, and we appreciate that because we understood that these people stood out line. These people were out here, they were doing half the night and shit. Well, I may be a little bit tired, I just woke my little ass up, but even though I see this big line and I'm like mad because I gotta be there, like but you know what I'm saying. But I had to remember, hey, they've been up. Some of them been outside in the cold and everything like that. And so it was important for us, and we took pride in that we gave the best ticket, that we get the best tickets, okay? And we sure would, honey. People be happy, people be like, oh, and it was such a joy, like afterwards, to see people so happy. Unless you was a bitch, if you was a bitch, your tickets was gonna be in the rafters, okay? And we didn't care if you was first in line. We'd be like, oh, that's just the way of the draw, the luck of the draw. The person fifth from you got better tickets because they might have released more into the system, which was true sometimes. But no, we would go. We knew the system. If you was being bitchy, we go all the way up. That was bad. but that's also telling you how your personality affects people when you go into a store. When you're not, be nice to the people, okay? Because they'll probably be nice to you, right? More likely. But also about the people being back nice to them. We worked hard to make sure they had the best seats, and it was so fun afterwards to see people looking at we used to put maps out in the hallway so people could see where they sitting and stuff, because we didn't have time to show you where you were sitting during the on sale thing. And so back in those days, and people, it was so fun to see people jumping around because they got front row seat tickets to a concert where people told them they couldn't get front row. You're like, nah, you're gonna get it here. Or you gonna get the first 20 rows. If you the first 10, you gonna get some good, because we don't play. Right? And we was fast about it. We always made sure somebody was fast on the computer. I mean, we was just good at what we and it was fun. And that was so exciting. And then sometimes, you even have people come back and say, thank y'all for them seats, man. I had a good time and everything like that. So it was always, that's what you don't realize. Like little things, how you affect people, and everybody in the world is affected by little things you do, how you move from day to day, your family, people around you. You are important in the phase of life. So nothing is too little. Nothing is too small, because everything, I'm not telling you to be perfect, because we're going to miss the little things, that's we human. sometimes, but try to focus on those things. Try not to let the world get you so erratic, get you so out of your mind that you forget the small things, that you forget the important things. It is the small foxes that spoil the. What is that? What does that mean? Let me look at that. Let me look this up real quick before we get into the craziness. No, no, I think I said Jesus said it. I think that was in Song of Solomon. So y'all forgive me for that one. Yes, in the Song of Solomon. Okay. Mm. No, I think Jesus said it too. uh, okay, it says the little foxes that run the vineyards. I'm looking at a commentary that hinder growth and take away tender fruit are the sins of the spirit of time. The time the world spirit is spelled with a smile. Sins of pleasure. What are they doing? Okay, so basically, it's the little things that we do every day, the small foxes that spoil the vine, like the things that you miss, the things that you miss go through the vineyards, because I think foxes will go through and can kind of ruin vineyards or something. I forget how like the story it goes, but it's the little things. It's the little things that you tend to overlook. It's the little things about your life, about yourself, about just so many things. I'm learning this in my own life, just being in my fifth decade, early part of my fifth decade, and trying to rechange, change, uh, reinvent myself, reinvent not only myself but my character and things like that. It is that's work, And when I often realize it's the little things that I've been doing that's caused me a lot more drama than the big things. It's the little things that I failed to look at. Sometimes I'm looking at too many big things and I'm not seeing the small things, not seeing the important things. I was talking on the phone with a friend the other day. Y'all know how I be having my little conversations, and I was saying we were talking about little things, and I was saying how often we were just talking about just certain people don't know what it takes to be in certain situations or what it takes to be in certain places. And oftentimes we forget that it is like it's a build up to that, and we were laughing talking about the book of Esther because we were saying Esther, that book is so powerful. It's one of my favorite books in the Bible. But the book of Esther, one of the things I love about it is it shows the detail that Esther had to go through in order to be with this king. Now, Esther wasn't a superficial woman, but the entities and things around the king were very superficial, right? And so, what Esther needed to be was to appeal to everyone. She needed to appeal in certain ways and it took little things like soaking in certain bath waters for 6 months, not in just being in the bath, but she had to go in every day, soak, or it was meticulous. You read that first beginning of Esther, and you don't even got to believe in the Bible. You can just take something from the word of God that you see that in your life to add to your life. But it's the meticulous attention that her handler paid to detail that helped Esther be prepared to be the queen. And it was those little things like dealing with her appearance, dealing with how she handled things, dealing with it was like going through a pageant, right? But all those little things was building her up for a big thing and big responsibilities. Okay. So I will say this sometimes, I was because me and my friend was talking about this, and that's how we got the book of Esther. But I was saying that some people you know, they want I guess we was talking about this, like I love listening to Sharaven and stuff. Even though I don't agree all the time with them, and I do believe I like hypergamy. I'm not against hypergamy, but we were talking about how that in this sprinkle culture, these so many women want, like, if there's now this, and which is, which I don't think is not a bad thing, that women are being taught to uh date more high value individuals. I don't, and what high value is, I don't always think is the manosphere. Some of those men are just very mean, and not all of them, some of them are very balanced and got their stuff together, but some of them are just mean and hate women. But uh, the it is teaching women to uh, not only value themselves, but value the choices they make in dating, and to think higher about what you want for us, for your in your relationships, a spouse or whatever. And what that does in society, because women have a very powerful influence on men. So if women are starting to demand more, men can become more, because we've had I feel like a couple of generations where men have struggled. And I think that is because, and especially in certain cultures and stuff like that. And I think it's because women have sometimes accepted less. Okay. So it's making men in certain culture, men become more dominant. I mean, not dominant in a bad, in a bad way where you're thinking you the mom. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about grounded, uh, and knowing what they want and balancing the scales. And so, and I think women help that, because you're saying, hey, you need to be a certain way. So you're setting a standard, and men usually want to meet those standards. Okay. So, hold on, y'all. So yeah, I can appreciate that. But we were talking about that a lot of times people forget, because we were talking about this particular situation where a woman had came to me, and I think I talked about it on the show about, because she hears me I talk about celebrity gossip and news and all this stuff on the show, and I talk about celebrity, my opinion of what I've seen of celebrities and celebrity men and everything. But this particular person was telling me they wanted a certain high value person, and they were asking me my opinion about it, and I gave them the straight up truth. I was like, you can't be Delulu. Delulu. And what I said is that I'm going to sound superficial when I say a lot. Me and my friend was talking about this. I said, I'm going to sound superficial to you when I say some of these things to you. I said, but you need to work on your body. You need to work on, yeah, I mean, of course the guy might totally like you for who you are. I'm not saying he won't, but he's in a superficial lifestyle, and a superficial, with superficial eyes on him and a superficial gaze on him. And you have to pay him attention to the little things if you like him. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you want to go for, I mean, shit. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You have to pay attention. It is the little stuff. I mean, like, you can be trying out there, you can bat your eyes at a couple shows, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever, to get his attention. But what if this person wants to date you? And this is one of my younger girls. I said, what if this person does like you and wants to date you, and they take you out in public, and it's not his love for you, but he has certain eyes on him. Okay. So what if you get you can be the most beautiful thing and press still come after you and stuff like that? But what if they're trying to tear down you standard wise, or I mean, you can still be strong in that, and everything. But the most important thing is that you work on not only understanding the kind of level and area he's in, but also working on that your mind spiritually, because those things will help you grow spiritually, even when you're working on the outside. Because you understand what you are understanding on the inside is what's on the out. You're understanding on the inside what needs to be on the outside, and that comes from the inside out. not where you're trying to just fix up yourself and just blah blah blah, and you have no conscience. Which a lot of women today, most women today, are fixing themselves up or fixing them. They're doing all kind of work with no, and it's coming from the outside in. They think that's what's going to build the inside, and that isn't. Okay, it has whatever changes or transformation you do has to come with understanding for something. It has to come with under has to cut so it needs to be some sort of spiritual move. And it can't just be about I'm trying to make myself feel better on the inside. Your inside has to say, you know what? I understand that the particular thing I'm doing or whatever, this is important for me. This is important. I understand that man looks on the appearance, but God looks on the heart. I understand that man is very important. So in the type of business or the type of thing I'm going towards, I need to be have set a standard for myself in excellence and try to be the best I can. I don't have to be the best looking, but be the best be the best I can in my health, wealth, everything. This does nothing but help me on this scale. But some women, because their beauty has become based on their outer appearance, and so everything works from outside in. So they think, oh, because people are paying attention to me because I'm beautiful, that tells me I'm a good person. That tells me I'm the best. That tells me everything is judged on the standard of the outside. And that's why I'm hearing these stories. People talking about baddies. You can't be baddie in a plus size. I'm like, please, are you serious? No, really, it's not just because you look good doesn't make you a baddie. I mean, when they say a baddie, it means it's supposed to be like somebody who's grounded, a boss, like a spirit, all the way around. And most of these people are seeing are not that. Okay, so you have to have an understanding. So we were talking about this, and I was saying it was the little things that she would have to do. And I said, and it's so hard. I said, check this out. I said, in your environment, what you're trying to do, I said, I wouldn't tell nobody. We was just talking about little important things to, no. I said, because somebody gonna come through and try to discourage you. Somebody gonna try to say some crap. You know what I'm saying? You got so many, this and that. If that's what you like, if that you feel like. And I had this conversation. Listen, I've had this happen to me a lot of times with girls. I'm not in a relationship guru, but they just value my opinion. And I said, hey, this is what you need to pay. Now, I said, what you'll find. I said, if you do all of this and you're this and that, I said, now, if you attract the person or whatever, I said, then it's important for you, we were just talking about taking your time and stuff like that, because you need to understand what this person is, because they are in a superficial place. They are in a superficial lifestyle, business, and everything like that. You have to understand what you're going after. But the whole thing is, that's a whole nother story. The whole thing I was trying to tell this young lady is it's the little things. It's understanding that space. And why do you want, like we were talking, I said, why you want to be with, I remember when I was a young girl, I was dating this guy who was really popular when I was young. And one of my spiritual people, with the women who were like a spiritual mom to me, I only had one spiritual mom, but I had women that were like spiritual moms to me. So she calls me up. I'm dating this guy and she's concerned. This is a guy I told the story about eating. And so she goes, well, I want to just understand something right now, And she was really trying to help me because I was really smitten by this guy. I really just love this guy. I was just like, oh, he's so great. He's so fit. He's so And so and I had my one of the girls who's one of my besties now. She is one of my best friends in the whole world now. She lives in Nebraska. Her and her husband. It's so funny because you would think it would be, I'm the cussing, but she is like, her and her husband are pastors and stuff. But we and her have been close since college, and so she. She used to call this guy. She used to always bring me down about this guy because she bring me back to reality because the guy was really popular. People thought he was cute. So every time she sees him, she called him Squirrel. She's like, hey, Squirrel. She said, you talking to Squirrel tonight? I'll be like, why you keep calling me a squirrel? Because he look like a squirrel. She was always bringing him down 10 faces. But she would call him Squirrel consistently, like, just like he's not all that. But I was just so smitten with him. And my spiritual, this woman who's like one of the spiritual mothers in the acting in the spiritual mother way that I had in school, called me and said, I'm just trying to understand something, because she had went to an event. He was a musician, and she had went to an event. We all had been at this event. And it was so funny because I should have known in my head. I think I did know, but we goes to one of his musical, his band things, his jam sessions, and so one of my besties go with me, and he's like, "Yo, babe, I got to pick up this young lady." And, in my head, she's a little younger. I didn't really. I was like, and so, but my friend goes, "What? She's kind of out there," and I didn't know at the time. I peeped game, but I really didn't. And I knew it, but sometimes back in those days, I was a little bit shy to define what I was seeing. Not anymore, And so I was like, okay, and so we pick her up, and she's just so giddy the whole time. And my friend said she's got a crush on him. I said, you think so? She's like, girl, you know that. What the hell is he doing? He's like, well, this is like my little sister. She's cool, everything like that. And the girl's talking to me the whole night, like, oh, she's gassing me up. You're so pretty. Blah, 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 blah. She's just gassing. But meanwhile, I'm not, I'm peeping gay. So, but my spiritual mom comes to this event. Well, one of my spiritual people, the woman that's like a mother to me, comes to this event, and she's like looking all around. There's nothing but women in this room. It's the best. Okay, I heard, because she, I know spiritually she gonna peep it out. So she looking all around her. It's nothing. Listen, it's nothing but women. And I had a big brother who is like I always have these spiritual people around me, just like my spiritual brother. So, and he says to me, he goes, he's like the Pied Piper. You play that horn, they all come out. Right? And so I'm like, and she's like, girl. So she said to me, girl, what you doing? I say, what do you mean? What is it that you like about this man? Because I'm not understanding what's going on here. You can't see all of that. Did you not see what you saw tonight? I said, well, he didn't invite him. He was there with me. I know he was there with you. But what did you not see, including the little girl that you were sitting next to? Did you not see what he doing? I'm like, no, I just want to, but I don't see it. I don't want to see it right now. And she said, what about you? She said, because I know God has something for you. And it's something that God wants to do in your life. And I'm like, she said, but what about you? Is so attracted to lights. I said, oh, it hit me. I was like, I was like, I said, what? She's like, what is about it? Because you're looking at a false light. And I was like, don't ruin it for me. She's like, baby, God got something for you. And God got something she said, she said, you know what? She said, I'm pray, because ain't nothing gonna be able to stand in this situation. I know what you want, but ain't nothing gonna be able to stand in this situation. I ain't supposed to be there. And there's something about that. This is a good thing that you attracted, but it's for a certain thing. And it's for a certain, a certain thing, you know what I'm saying? And you got to understand, do you fit in this world? Do you fit? Because I guarantee you, he ain't going where you think he's going. Oh, but listen here. Let me tell you something. That woman had spit so much game that night. Okay, I still wasn't trying to listen, but she hit me. I was getting hit all over. I was getting bopped in the face with some real truth. And she was like, you better start looking at the small things. And that hit me. And I started looking at the small things. And listen, the more and more and more shit I dissected, the more shit. God was just protecting me. She's praying on him. She's praying on his head. And the what she was exactly right. Like I'm looking at this all in this perspective of like, oh, he's gonna, it's so important to him because I'm thinking I have a person who has something in common with me with music and all this stuff like that. But yo, like no, he liked it, but he's like, yeah, but I don't know if I want to do that. I might be a pharmacist. What? All these little things. It was little stuff that I was thinking that was like, and she was like, you prepare for something and they ain't preparing for that. And I had to realize I was like, oh my God, she's right. Right. And so I found a very valuable lesson. It's the little things and it's who are you? You have to define that because it's so many things. And I later don't trust me on that. Later on, I still was making mistakes after with my other stuff. But it is the little things, the small things, the little bitty things I wasn't seeing about this person. Just because they had musical ability or they had this and that doesn't mean they were this or that I saw myself as this to that person. No, absolutely not. That person did not have that at all in mind for their lives. And as a matter of fact, later on, it was such a mess with this particular person, this guy. It's such a mess. I was so heartbroken too, by the way. I was like, listen here. It was one of the most heartbreaking relationships when I was in college. It took me to get over for a minute. It really did. And at the time, what I didn't realize is, and I'm a water sign, okay? I'm a Scorpio, so shit, I'd be like feeling that shit. I'm like, this is not right. Even though I knew in my spirit she was right, right? But I was like, young and I want what I want. But as later years go, gosh, I mean, things was not going right for that guy. I mean, now the person is married stuff now and all this stuff, but it just didn't go right. It would not have been a good thing for me to be in the middle of the mess that he had. And I realized, I said, "Oh shit!" And when my spiritual family be saying they was gonna pray for me, then women that was protecting me, like, we ain't playing. Now I see what's going on here, and it's so funny because she happened to come that night to that particular event, and she peeped game all around me. She's like, "Listen here, this is a womanizer." And I'm like, I said, "Well, just because he has a lot of women at the," she said, this his that's his spirit. She said, "I see no men up in there." I was like, what? She said, "Now one, it wasn't but the men playing in the band." Which was funny to me because she peeped and and I was like, but that's gonna be natural. I'm like, with the guy who plays music and stuff. She said, no, no, no. She said he ain't no star, he ain't no rock. She said it is nothing but women. You better see it. And you know what? I did. And I remember my good friend, my spiritual mom, my good friend who called him Squirrel, the guy Squirrel all the time. My good friend. So I'm in the dorm room. We're having, it's not a good day. I'm realizing what my spiritual mama said to me, saying about attracted to lights and understanding that what it's the little things, what is important. Do you know where this person is not going where you think he ain't going? And blah 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 blah. And you need to just let God handle the situation. And so I'm in the dorm room, I'm crying to my friend, and she go, she's so calm. She's still like this to this day. She's sitting there eating. She's looking at me, watching me, have a breakdown. And she go, what did she say? She said, she says, um, about this guy. I'm like sitting there going, and blah, blah, blah. She said, let me tell you a story about my daddy. And I love this girl. This girl is still to this day the funniest chick ever. She's hilarious, even though she's a preacher's wife. I mean, everybody used to love her because she's so funny. She's still the same way today. She said, my daddy. She said he knows nothing but women. He ain't got nothing but women friends. I said, what? I said, she's dead. She said, and she said, you know what? He ain't gay. And I said, okay. She said, but let me tell you about those women friends. I said, well, what? She said, a lot of them he used to date, he slept with, he did this and stuff like that. I said, she said, always beware of a man with a bunch of women friends. She said, not, it's not that men can't have women friends, but women with a bunch of but it was, so she says it to me calmly, but I realized that this guy has nothing but women friends. Like there are, and then what I found later on is, oh yes, they slept with him, they dated him, they done this. And he's like, huh? What does that got to do with anything? But now I find out like the truth. I start finding out the truth. I already knew from the beginning, but I had to convince myself because I was projecting on this person. They were nothing like, what I thought. It is what it is. So I learned a valuable lesson of that. So I always tell young ladies, it's the small things, it's the little things that you have to look at. It's the little bitty things. Are you just because you might like that or you might, are you a good fit for? And you got to see if what you're seeing is what you're seeing. Because if you don't understand that, like you might have been seeing the lights and this and that, but everything that shine ain't gold. Believe that, baby. Okay. So you get into stuff and you find yourself in a whirlwind of shit. You're like, oh my God, how did I get here? And I've known women to do that, like who've mistaken, like me, lights, who've mistaken. She said, could be attracted to just the light, understand what's going on behind things. So, and those are little things. Those are little things that every day that you gotta pay attention to. You gotta stay alert on about your life and everything about where you're going. And that's just in your jobs, everything, not just relationships, but I use relationships on here a lot. But yeah, little bitty things. If you're gonna try, I always looked at that story of Esther. Esther had a purpose. She didn't know exactly what it was from the beginning of being with that King Xerxes, but it was to save her people. It became a big purpose. It wasn't just to be married to him, be queen. It was, hey, this person has a position that eventually will take me to a place. And it doesn't mean of course, she cared for him, the king, and she respected the king, but it was also a major purpose for that. So always look at the little thing, the small things. Is that person's purpose aligned with you? Is there, you know, and sometimes people find this out. I was like I said, so many marriages have dissolved because what people have found out, they may love each other, care for each other, but it's the small things. It's the little things like our purposes don't align, we're not the same, or we've outgrown each other, we've become different, you know what I'm saying. So it's always the little things are very important things to understand about the choices and things that you make from day to day and how you move. Okay, how you do your work, how you do relationships, how you do life. Okay. All right, you guys. So that's your It's a Word. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all get it and everything. Okay, so I got to talk about some of this funny stuff. I'm going to try to go through some of this funny stuff I am seeing out here on the internet. Remember, everything that I put on here is fair use. And it's alleged. But it's all fair use, okay? First of all, let's talk about Jay-Z out in these streets. Jay-Z, they try, boy, let me tell you, Sloan was right. Y'all ain't ever listen to Sloan? Sloan said, did not Sloan? Sloan predicted Diddy. Sloan predicted. Now, it might just be lucky shots. And I've been listening to Sloan for years. I was listening to Sloan back in the day when nobody knew, she's always been a celebrity thing, but people weren't looking at her big on the net, like black people were. But Sloan she predicted Jay-Z and Jay-Z's fall would be from 20 around to 26. It would be gradual over 3 years or something like that. So far, she's almost been right. She said there'd be little things. Jay-Z, the Epstein files. Let me just say this. Y'all was laughing at Lizzo about what she was saying. I'm gonna defend Lizzo. Okay, a lot of people was laughing and joking about Lizzo, but Lizzo is right. Epstein had access to so many people. You could be on the list just like saying hi to Epstein. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and he could been writing in the papers what he thought about you or what he, you know what I'm saying? He was listen, this was a guy, a wealthy guy. When you come running wealthy circles, people are often trying to network, make connections. Some people are up to no good, but a lot of times, especially if you're a celebrity, people who are powerful but maybe not famous want to meet you, and they have access and money and stuff to make that happen. And then they might say, "Hey, would you like to come to my party?" and all this stuff. And so, you a celebrity, you thinking, "No, he's wealthy, he's a nice guy, he's okay." You go to his party, and you're not knowing what he do for a living. You don't know that he got a stable full of young girls and all that stuff, an island full of young people, and you don't know none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's the connection to you, and there are a lot of people who were just connected to Epstein. Um, because he's met them or this and that. So you can't get distracted by that. But Jay-Z, there was a particular thing in here, and it was 1996 allegedly. Jay-Z hanging out with Harvey Weinstein and Pusha T or something, like being a handler or something like that. This was they say just a report to the FBI, right? There is no basis or no facts behind it, but it does not help Jay-Z, because Jay-Z is often associated out here, allegedly, since Foxy Brown, with younger women. Okay. Um, like young girls. Listen, fellas, if they got teen in the back, if you over 35 and they got teen, like I don't care if they, 19, kind of leave them alone till they get, you know what I'm saying? Because so they pass 22. Okay, shit. I mean, because I mean, a lot of men in the industry like younger women. I hate to say that. I mean, you shouldn't be messing with no little kids, but that's is what's going on out here in these streets. Okay, so Charlemagne, I heard him say something stupid. Talking about what is Jay-Z being associated with? He's trying to just cover up. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, because you don't know what was going on. These people built. Jay-Z might have looked like he was nothing in 96, but Jay-Z may have possibly just allegedly been making the connections he needed to make to people in that time. And he may have been in a room with people you don't know. Shit. I mean, I had a particular person in my family who was in the music, everything back in the day. And they got offered, like this is when the mafia ran the music business. They sat down, had a meeting with these people, everything. These people told them what they was going to do for their career, everything. But it was certain standards they had to go by. And this was not rock music. This was gospel. Okay, no. They was going, listen. Nah, in the music business back in them days, and people say the mafia was a much nicer taskmaster than people over the music business today. Shit, that says a lot. but they were talking about how they were so scared when they came out that meeting. They didn't want to do it. They just didn't want to do. They just didn't. They was concerned for they, with family, everything, because they knew the people meant business. And so they said this was not something they wanted to take on at that time. But and it's a very legitimate person in that music world. I mean, legitimate that I know they know people in that world, and they still work in that world and everything like that. But so you don't know who people know, and you don't know what the fuck they doing. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's up, but there's no proof that this is, be fair to Jay-Z, it's just an accusation somebody brought about, but it does not do him any good. He's just had listen, it's not because nobody's jealous of Jay-Z and all this stuff. Jay-Z's just done a number of this is what happens, and it's so hard. Let me just say this to be fair to artists out here, because I know I get on artists a lot and stuff like that, but just to be fair, it is so hard when you are in the midst of celebrityism and fame and everything to understand what's going on around you. I mean, it's such a hard thing. It's such, a lot of times they get people, they just the idiots of the world, and they got a little bit of talent and they put them up here. I'm not saying everybody, but you don't even got to be an idiot. You can be one of the smartest people ever. And they can put you up here and you get so lost in the cycle of all of that. And sometimes you don't know what's going on around you. It really takes a lot uh to be there. I let's see. They said, remember when I'm looking at Yvette Cornell talking about a lot of stuff. She said, I told you that black celebrities are largely a class of beggars. Ooh, okay. But Lauren, the inside high, Naomi Campbell, me again. Why are you fretting, pop it? You can't afford to charter your own plane. What was so important about getting to Miami for the FINA Hotel soiree? These are things that's coming out these Epstein files, and we already knew that Naomi Campbell was going to be. They said she was going to be in it allegedly. I don't know. They say Naomi has called back twice saying she doesn't have any backup plans. She really thought you would work. She said she booked the hotel and car and driver mentioned something about mom. She is wondering if the plane can take you to where you're going back and get her to take her wherever she needs to be. She is currently fretting on this and hopes you will call her. Okay. So a lot of time, Larry Jeffrey is asking if you can find a charter for Naomi Campbell to go from New York to Miami tonight and fly back on Saturday or Sunday. Y'all remember the story I told y'all on here? Listen, I got a lot more where them come from. I ain't even told. I ain't saying no name. Shit. I don't even know if I told that story. Did I tell who it said, who it was? I think I did on Blog Talk. I read the blind item because I didn't saw the blind item. It wasn't my shit. Okay, with the blind item, Sedan used to kind of talk about this stuff back in the day. Sedan was already talking about some of this crazy stuff going on. Okay, he's talked about a particular celebrity going out with this particular celebrity, the Naomi Campbell, and Naomi Campbell saying fees. she's a hypergamist for real. Oh, allegedly. That ain't my business. But a lot of rumors. Okay, I'm not saying this about Naomi Campbell. Allegedly. I don't know. This was a lot of rumors about my. See, y'all used to talk at Tyra Banks and shit. And no offense, I don't know, but what I heard is her mama then was tight with her, tight on her, try to protect her a lot. But listen, and I don't know still if that's the deal, but a lot of rumors that in the model world, a lot of these models and stuff back in them 90s and 2000s was hoes. It's hard out here for a pimp when you're trying to get the money for the rent. Hey, that's what I heard in these streets, okay? I ain't saying, but that's what I heard. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. And y'all was thinking that's all the glamorous and stuff I was hearing. It was and I heard one particular big model. I'm not gonna say no names of who that big model was. I ain't saying it's no Naomi. I ain't saying there's nobody. I ain't saying it's who it is. I ain't saying no name. I heard that they was a madam and a regular facilitator of whole shit. Okay. That's all I'm saying. But here's apparently Naomi's following up on using the plane. She said, spoke to you ahead about this and hopes you can call her soon. Okay, so let me tell you something about black celebrity. Celebrity period. Okay, it's particularly black celebrity, and this is true what Yvette Cornell is saying. What she says on here. And she said how most of the celebrities are a class of beggars. Listen, there are a lot of powerful people that like the fame of celebrities. There are a lot of celebrities who have fame and no money, or have fame and a little bit of money. Okay. But these celebrities become good friends with the powerful. And the powerful will use their fame. And so you'll be thinking this motherfucker's on a private jet and it's their jet. That ain't their jet. It'd be like somebody like it'd be somebody foreign or something. Like I used to hear stories, notorious stories. I was so naive to what's her name up Cola Booth put me up on game about celebrity women when they did not all celebrity women, some celebrity women when they didn't have roles, running out of jobs and shit like this. They asses would be over there in Dubai turning tricks. Allegedly, 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 allegedly. Okay. Uh, but yeah, and I was like, what? You know, because they make their life look so glamorous. But let me tell you something. Some of these places, some of these people are just not doing nothing but running hoe rings. Okay, so yeah, in the 90s, I could see him being associated with some powerful people if you're trying to make your way. It's just, if some of these powerful people be dirty as fuck. Some of them are cool, some of them, are decent. You got to find ones with ethics and morals. you know God bless you. It might be a long, what I'm saying out there, long hard find, but some of them got it, or saying that you won't be in a freak off or something like that. But yeah, here we saying about Naomi Campbell. Y'all thought she was living the glamorous life, but I peeped game, no offense, a long time when she was with that Russian guy. But yeah, yeah, it's not only her, it's male celebrities too. These people be giving them anything. People will love the fame. So they'll be like, hey, they will people like Jeffrey Epstein often leached on to the famous, and the famous were so because the famous are there's a lot going on there in the Hollywood world. I often talk about the Hollywood world. I always laugh because I say it has the worst customer service in the business for a group because I am in the arts, and to me the industry isn't really about the arts anymore. I don't know if it ever has been. I mean, if it's more about using people and using the atmosphere of fame, I don't know anymore. I'm disillusioned when it comes in this sense. I've become a little disillusioned in that area and not understanding it completely. But what you often find is that it is such an area of desperation for not only the famous but the non-famous. I remember my first going to my guy spiritual mom said, quit being attracted to lights because you'll be out there, just running around, running around clueless. But it breeds such an energy of desperation, not only from the people who want to hang around the celebrity, but from the pressure that that industry puts on a celebrity to be a celebrity. Celebrities are often desperation, so you have a deep cycle of desperation going on, right? And you have on one end people so desperate to be with these people, and then you have on one end their desperation to be accepted, their desperation to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And sometimes they're narcissistic desperation. Because I think every artist kind of, listen, including myself, we all have a little piece of narcissism. Every human has a piece of narcissism in them, but particularly artists, because I think you have to have a little bit of it to do what you do. But but theirs is so overwhelming. It stops becoming about the art, and it starts more becoming about industry things. And what you will find is no group is more entitled, yet still desperados than you've ever seen. Entitled but desperados. It's crazy. It's the craziest shit ever. And meaning, like, I remember I went to this particular show back in the day in Hollywood. And I found the customer service to be abysmal. You know why they could do that? You know why they could fucking do that? Nobody else in the fucking world could do that in Hollywood. Nobody in the fucking world could treat people coming into your fucking show. Listen, oh God, I want to talk about it. Nobody else in the world could treat people coming into your show as worse as I saw this particular energy happening. And it was only in Hollywood, and it was because people were so desperate to get in to see the person that was in there. And I thought, I was sitting there thinking, the worst fucking customer service I ever seen. But you know why they could get away? And that's why Hollywood is in the middle of breaking down. It's not surprising to me that artists don't sell records anymore. And artists often like to look like, oh, well, they poor us. They've taken advantage of us. No, I don't think that all the time. I think desperado moves have taken advantage of the most artists. The need to be famous, the need, and who anybody could have got caught up in it is such a temptation. The need to be something bigger than yourself, the need to do, I'll do anything. I love when Dave Chappelle says, he's like, his daddy told him, name your price now. And that's often what you got to do. You know, you got to often find out what is the cost to build a house. I'm really starting to understand that at this age in life, really more. I understood it when I was younger, but I didn't understand it enough. Now there's becoming a deeper understanding. Man, shit, and I would have made so many mistakes that I made if I understood that. But listen, they don't count the cost. They just want so quick to become a singer, so quick to become this, so quick. I just want to be out there. I just want this and that. And you don't understand that you're building a fucking business, and they don't want you to understand that you're building a fucking business. They don't want you to feel like they want you to feel just artsy. I love when Michael Jackson said that. Michael Jackson was talking about the art world, and he was saying, he said, they just wanted me to be an artist. They just wanted me to write songs, you know, and sit around, you know, and not pay attention to but they didn't understand I'm smarter than that. Michael said, I was buying people's music. I was out here, shit, collecting up shit. Oh, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was way smarter than people think. But he was like, yeah, he's like, you know, I'm not gonna just be up here no artist. The fuck, I'm just not gonna be up here. If you're gonna be in the business of show business, you cannot afford to be an artist. And most of what's happened is a lot of these artists have gone in there. I remember even looking at the story of Bohemian Rhapsody, one of my favorite movies. And Freddie Mercury, he had no clue. He was so busy trying to be an artist, trying to be and stay in that ungrounded artsy shit in the music business. You can't afford. That's why the music business is so fucked up, because most of them artists are trying to stay artsy. They're not grounded, and they don't understand this is a fucking business. Believe that shit. And every motherfucker in here want to get a paycheck, but they want to be like, I just want to be in the music, you know, I just want to feel that God is sending me. And yes, God want to send you music, and spiritually you need to get all of that. You need to have that space, but you also need to understand, if you're going to do the business of show business. Now there you can, like I always tell people, you can sing at your local donut shop. It's so easy. You know what I'm saying? It's still a business at the donut shop, because you know you got to get some free donuts. You get some free donuts and coffee, your band to sing. You got to make sure that that's a part of the contract. You get some free donuts and shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot less stress. You know, you don't have to think of I mean, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to think that heavily on the business and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you don't have to think that heavily on how the music business and music industry and all these things, and even including the movie industry right now, have become so fucked up. It's a sense of entitlement from every side, not just these people who have come in into vultures and taken advantage of desperados, but it's also been a lack of ethics, lack of customer service. And now these motherfuckers is paying for it. Now don't nobody want to buy your shit. You got to be out here on tour 24/7, artists, because you've been desperate and you don't want to do the business of show business. You just think a lot of artists are entitled. Like I said, I walked into this show and these motherfuckers was literally like the people working for them. You the motherfucker working for them. You the motherfucker. They was acting so arrogant. I was like, the fuck? This ain't your shit. Like they just, I mean, like just I just watched. I was like, look at this. Look at the, and this has become, and the artist, the person itself that was over the show had no clue. They had no clue. They was the nicest person ever, by the way. But they had no clue what the fuck the people around them was doing. But because that industry breeds a sense of entitlement and they trying to stay in the art, man, I don't want to, I'm not supposed to be bothered with little things like that. I just deal with my, I just deal with I stay in the cloud so I can get very prepared to do my album. I don't know what's going on. I have great people around me. They just tell me I trust no, motherfucker, you can't trust nothing. You in the clouds most of the fucking time. Get the fuck out the clouds and understand that if you're going to do business, if you're gonna do the clouds, then motherfucker get a job, get a little 9 to 5 job, or do a little something and stay where you can stay in the clouds. Because at some point you in this life you gotta ground yourself. I don't know what the fuck people think they do, but because the industry they pay them so much up front, like they'll pay for their lifestyles. So you have like with Freddie Mercury, he didn't know what the fuck was going on with him until the end. I mean, he was on his deathbed finding out motherfuckers was cheating, doing all kind of shit. Okay, but because it's like I don't even want to say it because it ain't nothing like slavery. It's like a voluntary kind of being a voluntary slave. They pay you, they give you good food to eat, you get a good lifestyle, you get to hang out with all the great people and all the pretty people and everything. And it's illusion. Because remember what I said that world is. I love it. I heard from one of the great one of the astrologers, and I would give her credit, but I forget her name. But she talked about that the industry is a Piscean energy. So when you're talking about the sign of Pisces, we are definitely talking about the sign of Pisces. I thought we were gonna have a short show today. Oh, I see we not. But I gotta get. I got a little bit. I gotta get time for y'all. Okay, so it is a Piscean energy. So it is basically grounded in Neptune. Neptune is the planet of illusions. It is all illusions in that business. All illusions. Okay. So they give these guys, they can go around, they look wealthy, they be with all the beautiful people, but in the end, they motherfuckers be struggling. They don't be knowing nothing going on in their business, a lot of them. And that's why they are at where they at today. That's why they ain't making no, that's why they got to be out here running around touring. That's why they got to be, because they have been sadly mistaken. They don't understand that no matter who puts the money behind you, no matter who creates a lifestyle for you, or you're still the head of your life. You're still the head of your who you are. And if you are not paying attention to the details make the difference. The detail, I had a preacher say that years ago, the details make the difference. I'm gonna say it in my way. The details make the motherfucking difference. If you do not understand that, then you are what's going to happen is that entitlement, that lack of customer service, all that stuff is eating Hollywood up now. It's eating them up. It's eating them up because, and let's not even talk about us as the fan bases, because we will be desperados. We'll go to their shows. We'll go to this and that. We'll go and you'll realize this stuff. You're not getting the best customer service. You're not getting the best this and that, but because you like this music but it's people stopping to do that now. It's people stopping doing that now. People getting funny. And it's people that can run around because they've been able to be entitled so long. They don't have to you can pay attention to your target audience in show business, and they do at a certain point to sell records and all that stuff. But there is a sense of entitlement that I have those people on lock because everybody wants to be around the energy of me. I can sell motherfuckers anything. I can say anything. They ain't gonna go nowhere. I can fucking put out anything. I ain't gotta be doing this. I ain't gotta be attached to shit. Because that's the way it's changing now. This day of Neptune is over. Selling illusions is over. Now the illusion is fucking cracking, and it's with these Epstein files. It's cracking. And even if the stories aren't true, They're going to affect you. Why? Because you lived in a state of disillusionment. You've been delulu. Celebrities have been delulu. They've been entitled instead of grateful. And I can't blame the poor people. I can't blame them at all. I might have been the same way. You know why? Because they create that energy around them. Oh, you don't have to worry about this. Let us worry about this. You don't even hire your fucking team. So how you know the fuck what your team doing? It's probably some handler that's hiring your team, handling your shit. I'd be like, motherfuckers, if you're gonna be in any part of my money, I need to see who the fuck you are. But most of these people do not know. Their handlers are hiring people. They're doing this. They're doing this is the result of why that business is crashing. It's not just because the record companies are taking advantage of artists. No. Oh, we've always made the artists so innocent. But no, a lot of y'all been fucking desperados signing fucking stupid contracts, signing your whole life away. You just, doing dumb shit. Because you wanted to be famous. Now, some people didn't do this. Some people was like, well, I get maybe you get it. Some people were grounded, but most people weren't. So you have to pay the price too. Like you paying the price now. Like you can't sell any records. Now you have to be freaking paying attention. If you don't, let me tell you something out here. I'm gonna tell you something. And this doesn't come from that I know anything about the business. I only know a little bit, but I'm telling you right now. Guess what? It is now leveling the playing field back to the days of being when you're home, when you was hungry, when you wasn't no fucking body. It's bringing you back down. This is what this energy that's in the air right now is bringing you back down to when you wasn't nobody, when you had to know who the fuck your manager was. You had to pay attention. You had to know like who the fuck, like who's doing my wardrobe. When you had to know all that stuff, it's coming there. And if you are an artist that refuses to relearn yourself, to reinvent yourself in the era of the age of Pisces is gone. It's the age of Aquarius, boo. Look at what Aquariuses are. Water bearers, philanthropers, about that work, about thinking life. Doing unusual things. The sign of Uranus runs it. So Uranus over Aries, I think so. I mean, Aquarius, I think so. Can't remember. I think so. It's the different things, the strange things. It's the revealing things. And so you can go on out here and play these games. You can keep playing the old 1995 showbiz games. Ain't gonna work, boo. They exposing y'all now. Ain't gonna fucking work. You can't do what 1996 and 2026. Boo, if you was once a movie star back in 1985, that was a different time. They had studios and now motherfucking Netflix and what else is it? All these other streaming services is making you equal with the almost equal with the what is it? The actors out here that are just doing local theater. Oh, it's getting tough out there. It ain't that age is gone. And partly because you've been entitled. That's what always happens when you get entitled in a generation. We're experiencing that now with Trump. That's why we're having a hard fucking time with Trump, because America has been a fucking entitled group of people. And Trump is a correctioner. When it's time to make correction, we don't like the shit. Now, I don't like some of the shit Trump's doing, but some of that shit is to get people's attention. Black people, it's to get your attention. You haven't been protective of your legacy enough. Black Americans, we have not been protective of our legacy enough. We let motherfuckers like Barack Obama just come up in here and say the fuck anything. And we like, okay, we're gonna vote for you because we Black. Now we're paying. Now he in here. We need to be more discerning as a group of people, because we've been through more than anybody in this country. But we haven't been that. We've been acting like sometimes entitled ourselves with who we are, entitled with poverty, and it's crazy, right? So yeah, Trump is in here. He's Trump. Trump is a corrector, and it's messed up when people don't see it. It's like when you have illegal immigration, huge illegal immigration happening, and you ain't doing nothing about it. Well, he's a corrector. It's gonna seem harsh because you don't let the shit go for so long. Like it's like when you come in, like when somebody come in your workplace and y'all been for months just sitting around doing whatever the fuck you wanted to do, and you just, the work done went down, this and that, and you done let it go so far. Usually it comes in a harsh taskmaster. And the reason why it's harsh is because you just let it go too far, and they go to the extreme. They like, well, you come in here at this, you ain't got no leeway. And that's not saying that's right either. I'm saying that's what happens. Harsh things start to be the response to it, because lack of balance responds to another lack of balance will respond to it until it evens itself out. That's just life. And so this is what's happened to the entertainment business. It's not because y'all been missing the record business. It's all the record. I used to think that for the artists. I'd be like, oh, they the record business. No, then I realized these motherfuckers is desperados. A lot of them. they would do anything. Like when I hear the stories, I was like, wow, I thought they was lying on them. No, I'm like, nah, these motherfuckers is really out here. Like they was bending over. They was doing all kind of shit to get them record contracts and shit like that. Not all of them, some of them. A lot of them, not all of them. You know what I'm saying? You can't do it. It's gonna. You can't. Now's the day of reckoning. And guess what? You artists are not so innocent, because it's your talent and your gift that the industry is fed off of. So I saw this today. Interesting. I'm gonna play a little bit of this. A little bit of I had on here. Okay, because I got a little bit of time with y'all. And then I gotta get my, girl gotta go get her eyebrows arched. But let me see. Where is it at? Yes, let's see if I can pull it up. Trying to see if I can pull it up here. Okay, Lil Duval had something up that I thought was pretty funny. And I'm going to play this guy talking about this. Hold on. Okay, so I get it to you guys so you guys can see. Okay, I thought this was funny. Okay, let y'all hear this.
Black guy with guitar, girls, one of every kind, all pretending to be Korean, pretending to be black. It's done. We've completed music. Now we have to turn our attention to farming and production. There's a lot more innovation to be made in the field of agriculture. Like we got to put down the Pro Tools and pick up some real tools, like a Komatsu PC 210 LC11 hydraulic excavator. Singing and dancing in a back alley, that's not an art. 168 horsepower, 52,000 pound operating weight, now that's art. That's engineering. That's how we get ahead. We need less cat's eye and more kamatsu. So I was watching the Grammys new artist performances, and I think we did it. I think we've run out of songs and song ideas. We don't need to be making music anymore. It's time to turn our attention to farming. We've already made all the music you can possibly make. I mean, we got white guy, no guitar, black guy with guitar, girls, one of every kind, all pretending to be Korean, pretending to be black. It's done. We've completed music. Now we have to turn our attention to farming and production. There's a lot more innovation to be made in the field of agriculture. Like, we got to put down the Pro Tools and pick up some real tools, like a Komatsu PC 210 LC11 hydraulic excavator. Singing and dancing in a back alley, that's not an art. 168 horsepower, 52,000 pound operating weight, now that's art. That's engineering. That's how we get ahead. We need less cat's eye and more kamatsu.
Okay, so I agree with some of this. And let me say, first of all, I never think there's not a time when we don't need art. The reason why art is not good is because of our lack of connection to the creator, our lack of connection to God. We're now, you just have an industry that it's having a reckoning right now. You're having an industry that has had desperados as artists, and they've enjoyed picking out desperados as artists. It doesn't mean they haven't been talented. They've just been picking out talented desperados who will sell their talents and gifts to the highest bidder or do anything for fame and fortune and all this stuff. Really, I would say it's more the artist's fault than it is the structure of the industry. I'm about to make some people mad. It is your fault because you are the talent. You are the drive. And if you wouldn't accept that bullshit, then the industry wouldn't be full of shit that it is now. You got people, they got their cousins up there singing. And you got now record execs and stuff. They'll put their cousins out there. They put their aunties. You got nepotism running up there in that business. You got all kind of stuff. You got the lack of talent. I saw a motherfucker on the other day. I said, how the fuck she keep getting jobs? I don't even know. This motherfucker couldn't stay on one show she was on. And the whole time she was on one show, she stayed on there. This one show, everybody hated her. I said, how the fuck? She must know somebody. And people, what's going on is nobody's watching TV anymore because people are going to get their talent from podcasters and everything like that, because the industry doesn't really want to deal with the new kids unless you're going to play ball. The industry like, damn, you're not going to be no desperado. And a lot of the podcasters is out here like, the fuck, I got to be a desperado who I can just come on here and talk, or I can do whatever the hell I got to do that. And so what they don't want to do, they want to deal with desperados so they can take advantage of them and they can, slut them all across Hollywood and do whatever. And listen, that stuff will never change there, but it is changing because they're making it harder for them to make a living. And it's mostly because the artists didn't stand up for themselves. Most of y'all do not stand up for yourself. Most of y'all have a quiet network that y'all live at. You just be like, y'all know motherfuckers, shady motherfuckers running that business. You'll just be implying, well, maybe. And then you'll be on there praising the motherfuckers is desperados. And it's just crazy. And that's why it is what it is. That's why that's why it looks like the end it's the industry. That what they say, the Grammy Awards was the lowest ratings it has ever been. I think it was the ratings was. I didn't even pay I taped it. I didn't even pay no attention to it yet. I mean, no, but you don't even have intriguing people out there no more. People are like, oh my God. I mean, it's just, like you say. I mean, it's recognizing not recognizing the age you're in. You're no longer in that age. You no longer can be an artist that can just live in la la land and get taken advantage of and be out here on, getting your trip on acid and drugs and try to be motherfucking like I ain't got this is how I find I connect with the spirit so I can make a bunch of albums, That's the shit they've been able to take advantage of. They're like, this motherfucker here. See the sharks coming in there, they like, look at this motherfucker that want to stay in the clouds. I'm about to run his shit. I'm about to run they shit. I'm about to run. I'm about, you know what I could do with they tell? You know what I could do? I ain't get that. They want to stay in the clouds all day. Shit, I'm gonna be doing the business. I'll be making business deals, everything. They don't give a fuck about what I'm doing. They don't give a fuck about who I am. I'm just getting high. Ooh, the fucking entitlement. Oh, I no wonder. Now, somebody need to have a come to Jesus meeting with the artist. You're the reason your industry's fucked up. Most of you, not all of you, but most of you. I just want to live. I don't care. They created such a bubble to your entitlement. Boy, they good because we're Leo. You know, most people, in show business have the Leo energy. You know what I'm saying? We like to be seen. We want to be this and that. We want this and that. And they know that industry has learned how to flatter you. Oh, you're so talented. Your talent's so great. Leave that little stuff to me. You've got a guy you got to worry about, singing. Like Michael Jackson said, they just thought I was worried about singing. But Michael realized, but by the time he realized it was too late. And the pressures that come with that industry, I've already said you got to have God. But listen, it's been a lot of y'all. You are the reason for your industry's downfall. Because you have been desperados, you've been out here faking it, you've been out here. That's how Jeffrey Epstein was able to hang out with a lot of y'all. It's just not having a lack of attention to things that's going on. Like they get to, here's even a most, you see in Hollywood a lot of drug problems and alcoholics and everything like that. And part of it is because the artist and this is what I heard from a person particularly. They said they ain't got nothing to do really. I mean, everybody do shit for them. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So, the higher up they do their shit, they got they just tell them to focus on what they can. And after a while, they can't even focus on that because they ain't living, their life ain't real. I said, you the fuck right. These motherfuckers they are just out there. Yeah, man. It's sad. I mean, I had a person who had personal access to people. It was just telling me just like the shit you see. They so fucked up. And a lot of them they say they just they don't know where their money is. That's how motherfucking entitled you are. You just so fucking sitting up here living like you like royalty and shit. Like you they tell you when to hey, come in today. Hi. You need to get up. You have an assistant tell you it's 8:00. Instead of the fucking alarm clock. Excuse me, it's 8:00. You have a thing at 9:00. I mean, you got motherfuckers everywhere telling you what to do. The entitlement that breeds from that. And now the age of Aquarius is making you go back down the sides. Oh, they having a good time. The age of Aquarius is creating a reckoning. The illusions are breaking down. You can't do the shit you was doing in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Having a good time. It's a party, it's a party, it's a party. I'm at the party, I'm at the 40 club, I'm at the party, I'm at the party, I'm at the party, I'm at the Diddy party, I'm at the all that shit done broke down, all the illusions of that shit. You look like you was having fun, but you was really not. You was desperados. You was having freak outs. You was high. You didn't even know what the fuck was going on. It was a good time at first. Until the reckoning's here. Now the reckoning's here. Oh my God. And some people are not going to be able to survive the reckoning. It's not that we don't need more artists. Of course, it's just we need artists to understand we need people to understand where they belong. Some of y'all not artists. Some of y'all should be at the forum. I saw this one video the other day, and this dude was talking about his son. his son was talking about how he gonna bail him out when he make it famous, and he was singing this song. It was hilarious. And he said, "I guess I ain't never getting out of jail." And I have a friend that was telling me this about her kids. She said, "This mother." She was going out. She said, "This mother, blah blah blah. Think this motherfucker think he can rap? Listen to this bullshit." And I heard the rap. Me and I was laughing so hard. The we couldn't stop. We was in tears. I said, she said, "See what the fuck?" She said, he been raised in the suburbs. He don't know a damn thing about the motherfucker. She was just so pissed. But I was like, why does he feel that way? Because they have told them they've seen the way artists live. But they really don't know that first of all, it's very hard to get there. But once they get there, it's a complete checkout. So what they're seeing is the complete checkout of the artist. They're thinking that's an easy way to live. Look, have everybody do everything for you, do all the shit. And then what kid wouldn't want to do it? So they try to come up with something. We wasn't gonna do that instead of plumbing. And so me and him, I try to have a conversation with him because he was like, "Yeah, well, what you think I can do?" I said, "Well, hey, what do you like to do? What do you really truly like?" He said, "I like music, everything like that." I was like, "Shit, you might like it, but it ain't really for you." And so I said to him, I said, "Well, you know what?" He said, "Yeah, but you know something else I really do good." And he had went to school for it. He said, "Cooking." I said, "The fuck?" I said, "Hey, you know what? They got podcasts." I said, "Why not be like the cooking rapper? Like, have rap, have rap music playing different stuff in the background and bring on your favorite artists and talk about cooking and music and stuff like that, trying to guide them out of the way because you listen shit." And what you rapping about the hood, like people who from the hood would be like, "Nigga, I mean, you don't know nothing about." We would know immediately that you don't know nothing about the hood, right? So it's just trying to get them to see a bigger picture of things, But it's these kids because they've seen the ideas of Jay-Z and Puffy and all them, and they don't realize that that age has passed. The Diddy's and the Diddy's and Jay-Z's The Reckoning has come. And that's hard. And Black people, it's hard for it too, because what's happened with Black people is that we have put so much hope, because what they did to Black Americans is put a lot of hope behind the arts, because the arts was a way to make it in Black America, because Black America, we are so talented, in the art world. We've created most major genres in American culture. We've created what's American. And a lot of times our leadership and things have been attached to artists, right? And so to see this reckoning of this group of people is hard for us, because all our leadership looks like they're singers and dancers. And they had this problem in Malcolm's day. Malcolm often talked about it. And we as a community did not straighten that out. I mean, you can't be a leader and be an artist and stuff like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that that has been, you know, a major downfall in the community. That's why you're so hurt. That's why you can't believe, oh, why y'all trying to pick on Jay-Z? Why y'all trying to pick on Beyonce? Because you got so much attached to them. It says something. It says something about the, it's hard. It's hard to see but it's hard to, but what you don't understand, and I'm not saying this about Jay-Z and Beyonce, but I could be, but I'm not. I'm just saying it maybe, but a lot of these people are desperados, and they haven't been diligent in their and diligent and vigilant in their own careers. And and that industry is not built for you to be. It's almost hard if you're vigilant and diligent over your own career. It's almost hard for you to be. They make it so much that everything is catered. You're so catered to that it looks like it's a good thing, but it really in this age is not. Let me see. Yvette has some interesting stuff up this morning. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna get through how to get through in this one here. So yeah, we could talk about it. But it's funny. Yeah, she puts on here. Remember when at Tone Talks and I told you that black celebrities are largely a class of beggars. Wow. Uh, she put I want to double back and ask what was gained from this. She's talking about Jay-Z. Phrases like bringing awareness were bantered about has Jay-Z entered into a partnership with the NFL to squash and move past kneeling actions in a room full of reporters, mostly ADOS. To what end? And so yeah, she's talking about the celebrities and how they really, because the black world, black America has been so enthralled with black celebrity. They've really put a few people up there that have really damaged the black community. And in terms of and they probably thought they were doing well for the community. But they knew one thing about your personality: you're a desperado, and you'll do anything for fame. And you really weren't interested in community, and at no point were you going to come to having ethics and values. Okay, so they knew that about you. This is some. I'm looking at Yvette's thing because she has some very interesting things on here today. Yvette Cornell, you guys can go to her page on X, but she's saying some very interesting things about black celebrity. She said, meanwhile, you got Diddy saying this is the beginning of the black renaissance. That's why I'm so hard on black celebs. They're tools of social engineering and influence how we perceive ourselves, whether they're aware of it or not. Yes, they are. I mean, that's why I said my friend's son wanted to this be his he was illusioned with the rap disillusioned with being a rapper. I mean, he was just the Lulu. I mean, that's not even like, like that ain't even kid, that ain't even but you might be a little musically inclined. But listen, for the most part, no, this rap, what you rapping about is crazy. And but the thing about it is the industry has shown him he could be a star because there's a lot of other idiots out here performing and being in this and that and doing all kind of stuff. They don't let the idiots run the form. And partly because the people who are talented let that industry take advantage of them because they had talent but was desperado. It don't matter if you got a lot of talent if you ain't got no values and ethics and morals or price. You'll do any fucking thing. That's why the industry is having a reckoning the way they're having it. Uh, uh, let's see. Let's see. I'm talking about the Epstein files. Uh, a lot of these Epstein files, Epstein is asked by his attorney to help as Stacey Plaxton get a meeting with Chuck Schumer. She put on here years ago. I told people Jay-Z is a tool for social engineering and marketing. I got called a hater. In 2014, Brazil had a nationwide protest over rising cost of living and billions in public funding. This is funds being fueled into the World Cup. In this email, then Barclays CEO Jess Staley writes to Jeffrey Epstein stating that the reason the US doesn't have that problem is because Jay-Z keeps the people who should be protesting in line. Someone also sent an email to Epstein, and I blame us too, is for how we have placed a lot of these idiots on a pedestal. Okay. Someone also said, and so that's us because we're idiots and not paying attention. Like I love one thing I heard George I forget his last name, but a comedian say years ago he was talking about when people vote idiots in the office, look no further than yourselves, America. You are the idiots that voted for these idiots. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at yourself always. It says someone also sent an email to Epstein calling Jay's business model extremely clever. White elites are literally agreeing that Jay-Z is selling out his own people and throwing anyone under the bus to align himself with the enemy for the bag. Dame Dash, Colin Kaepernick teaming up with Barclays to gentrify Brooklyn. Are we still pretending like this man and Desiree Perez aren't government assets? Oh, wow. This person has up here Jay-Z talks NFL deal, Colin Kaepernick. I think we moved past kneeling. Jay-Z opens up Barclays Center as Brooklyn prepares to welcome the Nets. Jay-Z NFL deal, Kaepernick lawyer calls rapper cold-blooded. Times Square casino proposal backed by Caesar and Jay-Z denied by advisory committee. Students at Jay-Z's Rock Nation School claim debt-free scholarship is a scam. While half of Brooklyn hates the new Barclays Center, they got all these different things with Jay-Z attached to it. They got the email. So basically, they were saying, Jay-Z, Jay-Z handling the people. You know what I'm saying? And Jay-Z probably didn't even realize he's an unwitting, unwillingly a participant in him and Beyonce. Beyonce, don't take Beyonce's punk ass out of this too. Beyonce motherfucking ass too, because she's with Jay-Z. She's Jay-Z's biggest asset. The fuck? No, nope. Beyonce doesn't know. Beyonce needs a divorce. Now she's ride or die. All I need in this life is me and my girlfriend, me and my boyfriend. Now that bitch is in it. Okay, don't try to play that. Don't try to play that. I knew Matthew was out here doing a lot of interviews and distracting for some reason. I'm like, why Matthew out here a lot? Listen, y'all can't let Beyonce get away with that either. Listen, let me just say this, okay? I don't believe to be fair to Jay-Z. I think Jay-Z's value system was jacked up before he even became a celebrity. A lot of us, we have jacked up value systems sometimes, and we get into some. I love Joyce Meyer, says one of my favorite quotes of all time. She says, "Don't let your talent put you where your character can't keep you." I'm clapping on it. I'm hitting something, but I'm clapping on it. Woo! Don't listen. It could be any of us. Don't let your talent put you where your character can't keep you. And listen, and this is so hard because we all have different character flaws. We all have different parts in ourselves where we fail or we fail ourselves. I ain't perfect over here. Shit. Ain't nobody perfect. Ain't nobody got no perfect shit going on. Okay. I got a lot of shit going on in my life. You know what I'm saying? Who knows if I would have been put up there with them value system in my 20s and stuff like that. That was just God protecting me. What the shit I would have did. I wouldn't, but Jay-Z comes from, y'all got to understand Jay-Z and why these people were able to take advantage. But when he got old enough, he should know better. But by then he's into it much. But Jay-Z, guys like him gets into show business, they're coming from a desperate place. Not to make no excuse, because at some point you had as a grown person, you had ethics and values and moral choices, right? But you're coming from drug dealer backgrounds. Hold on, you guys. This is that kind of show. Okay, these guys are coming from various backgrounds. This industry knows that. And these guys let their talent put them where their character couldn't keep them. So Jay-Z was never interested in the people. He's not that kind of guy. He's coming from a drug dealer background. He wasn't concerned with the motherfucking community when he was selling drugs. So how the fuck you think he gonna get up in these industries and start caring about y'all the fuck now? What the fuck y'all doing? We so stupid. I mean, and this is where he's come from. This is where, same thing with Puffy. I mean, Puffy out, you know, will say, and people think I be saying this, I'm soft on Puffy because he's a Scorpio. I do believe Puffy is a little bit more inclined to the community, to be more community oriented. And I think but I think only Puffy realized that when self is damaged. That's why I think he's in jail right now. I don't really think Puffy's in jail because he really didn't do anything illegal. He may have did something morally corrupt, but he didn't do nothing illegal. I think he's in jail because spiritually he needs to be there. He need to spirit. I was telling one of my friends this too. I was telling one of my old friends this. We was having a discussion about they's in jail and why they been there. And I said they was talking about how they had back in the day, they have so many anger problems. I said, well, you right where you supposed to be. Shit. What? I said, you right. Shit, you gotta get, because it's there. You ain't there to waste no fucking time. You better deal with all your shit that put you there. Your anger issues, your this and that. You can pretend, you can act like it ain't the fuck there, but if it's still there, you there for a reason. You get out here and hurt somebody. You get out here and do the wrong thing. You get out here and fuck up. You be right back there for double time. So you need to straighten out this is what I showed today, the little things. Everybody, and it's so funny with my friend, everybody who committed the crime with them, this particular person I knew growing up, everybody, they out of jail except for him. I said, because what is it in when you often kept there in those spaces, it's because it's not for you to be like I remember on my podcast, I was talking about R. Kelly. I said, R. Kelly, now's the time to learn how to read. Now's the time to become a better person and learn this ain't 1992 and 1994 no more where you can fuck around with young girls. You know what I'm saying? They was doing a lot of that. No, it wasn't just R. Kelly. It was a lot of people in the 90s. Crack era was different. Okay. I try to tell people this, they don't want to believe it. Okay. It's a different, the crack era teenage girls are not the crack era, not today's teenage girls. Okay. Crack era, I hate to say it. I'm not excusing fucking child molesting and all that. I'm not excusing that, but I'm just telling you, it was little hustlers and shit out here. It was crazy. It was a crazy time at 14, 15 years old. I used to see 14, 15-year-old girls be after school. I was one of the little girls who be friends with girls and see them talking about, I'm about to pray this old such and such for his money and everything. Because they was really, 14 was really, even though there was a level of immaturity, it was 20 in those days. It was people living in rough rider conditions and streets. It was just, the streets was different. It'd be girls after school. It'd be old men outside lined up after school. And the girls would be smart enough and wise enough to know that they shouldn't be fucking around with this old man, but they still was. And some of them be running games around them dudes. You know what I'm saying? But I always say, R. Kelly, dude, do you in jail because you need to learn. You need to mature. Grow the fuck up. Fuck you still talking about that 19-year-old and you 55 and 60 years old. The fuck you doing? Grow the fuck up. And some people got to go through extremes. And some people never realize it. Some people will stay in that jail cell and never work on who they are. And I feel like Puffy's in there because Puffy, let me say this about Puffy. I'm going to say something very strange. He's actually got the blessing out of all of them. All of y'all ain't been caught yet. Puffy, actually, if he takes this right, he's paying for the shit he's done. He's sitting up in the jail. He's paying for the lack of morals and the lack of this. He's paying, even though his case wasn't about that, but he's paying for that in the spirit realm. That's good for somebody. That's good for him if he takes advantage and really changes his spirit man. But it's going to put him at odds with a lot of things when he gets out. He's going to find out the world that he created, and that's going to be the toughest for that Scorpio. If he's really making changes in there, The toughest is going to be looking at your family and see the monsters you've created. Or looking at, you know what I'm saying? Like you might see your kids are entitled. You might see all kind of shit that your lifestyle and your lack of energy and lack of understanding what you have been blessed with has created. David had to do that. Yeah, I look at the Bible. I love the story of David. I'm watching it now on whatchamacallit. But if you read the story of David, God favored David. God loved David so much. The Bible says God called David his friend. David is the throne that the Bible says Jesus will sit on forever and ever. It's the throne of David. Jesus came through the lineage of David. David is a strange character in the Bible. He is not perfect whatsoever. You talking about uh okay, you talking about lack of how can you say this? David just lack of not understand. David had understood his position. He loved God, though. He loved God. He loved the word of God. David understood the word of God so much that in the Old Testament times, they were always to make a sacrifice before they come into the temple or before they come in the presence of God. Not David. David realized that there was something to come, and David started coming directly into the. I forget how it goes, but David was a understanding and very intimate with God, even though he was very troubled. He was very spiritual, but very troubled. David had all kind of. He was a womanizer. Yeah. He killed another man to cover up him fucking around with his wife. I mean, he did all kind of shit. David was a trip. And David married the girl. The wife became his greatest out. But David had a lot of shit going on. David was a hot, full ass mess. Okay, and yet David had to look around. The more he changed, the more God changed him. The more he became. He realized that the things in his life that he didn't take care of, the sins of his life, had created a family David realized that I'm not just I'm affecting my whole family. Look, my sons are that to me, because I got the spirit of lust. One of my sons, it was so lustful that he's up here trying to rape his sister and cause conflict with his brothers and me and every conflict in the house. Split David's kingdom. David's kids was after him because David's son was mad because you didn't punish him for raping our sister. It was so much stuff that David had to deal with, and he was God's anointed. David had a full ass mess up in his house. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Puffy reminds me of that. Puffy reminds me because he's always been, and a lot of people in the world don't understand spirituality. You talking a lot of stuff, but really don't. You don't have to be perfect to be, if you in the Christian world, to know God. But Diddy reminds me of that energy that you if he uses this time wisely and gets himself together, I think he could come out a much better person. But he's been he hasn't really, he's failed, it's a lot of areas that these guys promoted and things, and they were more interested in self-preservation. And they didn't understand imaging and how all these things affect the people who are watching you. It was only concerned with being a so-called fake ass billionaire, because never really real in assets and looking like you. So I remember Jay-Z said, just my presence is what? Just his presence was something. I forget what he said is good for the community. I'm like, how's that? Like, that's just tells me you so fucking disconnected. But this is what we're dealing with. This is where, and to be honest, this is just a place. A lot of us, we just thank God. God is protected. Sometimes you protected you, and that wasn't your way to go. But a lot of people don't evaluate what their values are before they get in these spots. Because listen, there are vultures all in all these spaces, but particularly in show business. So many vultures and a sense of entitlement that these guys got in there and they started thinking they was a part of the crew. I don't know how when you black in America, you gotta always understand you ain't never part of it. That's the gift. That's a gift of God, really. It's really a gift. We think it's rejection. Rejection is sometimes protection. I always look at the scripture that say, don't desire to be like your oppressor. I mean, listen. Sometimes the stuff we not allowed to get in as black people, we be like, this ain't fair how they get that, these white people. Sometimes, listen here, we like, because it's about to go down. Sometimes we being protected as a group of people. And what these dudes did, got up in here and they desired to be like their oppressors. They desired to be like these white male counterparts and people they were seeing in show business, and all this stuff has created a great fall. They got in these areas with no character, no sense of values, no nothing. Let me tell you, young people, if you're going to go into the arts or anything, any kind of business, just any business at all, but particularly the arts, you better build your character. I mean, it's already hard for us as humans. You know what I'm saying? You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have shit out here that you ain't going to do perfectly. That's okay. But I'm saying these guys have made tragedies of their lives. I am telling you to ground yourself. And you cannot just be in the clouds creating. If you're going to do it as a business person, if you're going to create, if you're going to use your creativity for business, even if you volunteering with your group, even if you're down there at the donut shop, if the donut owner at the donut shop then said, you know what, you come down here and sing your songs every Tuesday from 5 to 7. The donut owner expect you to be down there at motherfucking 5 to 7. Because he done called, he done advertised for you. He done told people, I'm gonna give away 2 donuts if you come in and see this artist perform. I'm gonna give away a cookie, something, you know, some bakery food or something. If you come to, it's businesses everywhere. You can't be afforded to say, I was in the motherfucking clouds, I was smoking weed and in my zone and trying to lift up to God, and I missed the donuts. He gonna be like, fuck, I had people here to see you. Yes, but I can't be bothered with all of that because, you know, God was giving me a song. A lot of these motherfuckers, I ain't gonna say who, but a lot of them that y'all been praising as artists like that and look like they was always trying to be in a fucking cloud talking about the business ain't important and shit like that. These motherfuckers was crazy as fuck. A lot of them ended up dead and drove drug overdoses and all that shit because they couldn't ground themselves. You supposed to, this is Earth. 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 You ain't, this is not, it's an earthly experience. Yes, sometimes you're gonna have the heavenly experience where you get the great song, you get this, but you better ground your motherfucking self in this. I was in the clouds. I couldn't go. I know you was giving away 2 donuts. The donut shop owner, like, the fuck, I ain't gonna invite you down to the donut shop no motherfucking more. Because you done made me, I had these people here and they couldn't see you play your guitar because you was in the clouds. Talking about you was waiting for God to give you a song. Do not let these artists, young people, do not let these artists tell you it ain't, that the business ain't important. I will tell you that it's both. If you're going to get into the music business, you're going to have to ground yourself. You're not going to have to you can't be a desperado. Yes, and I know artistry, and here's the sad part. We were just talking about this in my class. I'm doing this, one of my classes, management, theater management and stuff like that. We were just talking about how how are artists going to be able to compete? Because what's happened is there's two extremes to art being an artist. There's that showbiz extreme where you're famous and you look like you got a lot of money and just like this thing. But there are the other artists who are struggling every day to just do a gig at a theater, and they don't hardly get paid much. Some of the best actors and technical people and creative people and everything in the world, most of them you don't see in that realm. Okay, they're doing everyday things, and the struggle is to keep them, to keep these, especially since COVID, to keep these kind of businesses open and keeping these kind of things, because artists get so the extreme difference from the artists that you see on TV and real, and a lot of the people who are doing it every day in life, and just they got other jobs and everything to get to just pay the bills and all this stuff. It is so extreme, and artists are not being paid a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. And because the art sometimes isn't supported in certain ways, right? So we only support showbiz or something like that. But uh, the hard part is that a lot of these companies, we were talking about how a lot of these companies are talking about how they love theater trained people and liberal arts people, because they're well rounded, they understand things. So you're going to have marketing departments and everything poaching off of these, these the theater, are poaching off of artistry, because they can offer them great money. Whereas the arts, we're not offering them a lot of, because there are people who have been able to take advantage of artists' gifts and talents and everything like that. And we have created, in my personal opinion, a sort of desperado industry. This idea that you gotta be struggling, you gotta be a struggling artist, you gotta be starving because it's a privilege to be an artist. It's a this and that. We've kind of become elitist in it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of been an elitist, and so that elitism from show business makes its way down to the everyday artist. So it's like you gotta jump through hoops before you make some money. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the desperados that sit at the top and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You better sleep with me for this role and all that kind of bullshit. It's just really been an industry of disillusionment. And I feel like COVID and the age of Piscean is over, and that is crumbling. And it's now the age of Aquarius, where it's asking you to give something of yourself, to be philanthropic. How do I say? I'm saying, not saying it right, but to be more of a philanthropist, philanthropic. Give to things, give of yourself. If you can no longer be an artist that is protected by the things around you and the people, I'm telling you right now, tell you that age is gone. You're gonna always have a little bit of it there. But it is, I mean, you talk about COVID killing a thing. It was a great reset. Shit. And the everyday artist was struggling before that. But now what you're finding is things that were set aside for the everyday artists, like little commercials and stuff like that. Now you're seeing more and more people in show business, movie actors and stuff like that, having to do the things of the everyday artist. Because listen, it's hard out here for a pimp when you're trying to get the money for the rent. Shit done got hard in these streets. Woo-hoo. Yeah, that's where we're at. So no, it doesn't surprise me to see this happening. It does not surprise me to see artists falling, to see them in the Epstein files, because they were in an age of where they didn't understand that powerful people would use them for their fame, and they're using powerful people to look like they were jet setting. No, they were jet setting, just on someone else's bill. And some of you didn't even have to have like they like no moral character. Some of you knew some of these people was bums. Like you knew some of them was bums. Now, so everybody probably didn't know Epstein was a bum. I mean, it's just like today. If you become a big star today, let me use myself. Somebody say, "Hey, Carlotta, this famous Bill Gates wants to see you." I'm like, all right, shit, that's Bill Gates. I go over there and talk to him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Bill Gates may be one of the craziest ass people in the world. I don't know. But I'm so famous, I don't got time because that world creates such disillusionment. You be in running from that. They do that on purpose to me, in my opinion, to have you fight five cities in a day and shit like that bullshit. So you won't calm down to stop. Fuckers, calm down. Now you gonna make if you an artist, you gotta make your world stop. Oh, and if you don't, they gonna get you. Okay. Now you got to ask questions. You got to say, all right, well, you know what? Yeah, he want to meet me. All right. That sounds nice. Okay. But hey, maybe we need to do a little bit of background. It still ain't gonna be perfect. I'm not saying you won't still run into situations and things where people aren't properly vetted. But now you're gonna have to do the vetting. Now you're gonna have to be as a person. If you feel funny about somebody and they say, "Hey, you need to meet this person. This person can change your career." You get blah blah blah. You can't be such a fucking desperado that you don't listen to your intuition. You gotta say, "Hold on, slow your roll. I know somebody can change my life and all that stuff, but hold on. I don't know. Who is this person? Where is this? What's this about? Why they want me? What's going on?" Hey, Keisha, the sheep of such and such country want to meet you. That sounds great. And the Bible says that your gifts will bring you before great men. But I need to understand something here. What's going on with the sheep? What's all this background and shit? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And maybe they might still have a horrible background, and you still God still wants you to go over there and see that person, but there is a reason for it. And then if the press come after you, whether they don't like it or not, your value system said, hey, at the time, this was what I felt was the right thing, and this is what I did with it. You can either go with it or not. I stand on my shit how I am. You won't be moved. But a lot of y'all moved by the press because that's why the artists, they don't have they just out here, they disillusioned. And so I'm just here to tell you the day of that is over. Say for you, if you're a celebrity listening to me right now, listen, I'm telling you right now, you do better to ground yourself. Don't be entitled. You can't be entitled no more. It's age of Aquarius. Find out what the sign of Aquarius is about. One of the great things, it's a thinker. It's philanthropic. It gives of itself. It's so many things. It bears what. Find out what that means. This is a new age. You cannot be in that age of Piscean where you be in the clouds no more. I'm in the clouds. You can still be in it sometimes, but not you. As an artist, yes, you got to have those times. You got to be organized. And you can't let everybody do his shit for you. And you can't just leave it to the managers. I don't get time for that shit. That's little shit. Meanwhile, they fucking up your business. You know what I'm saying? They call you in. You be like, well, I thought they was taking care of that. You be like, shit, nah, they take care of shit. The age of Aquarius is going to cause you to look at the comments to see what people really think. Oh, it's going to be fun times. Okay. Yeah. All right. Moving on. Okay. I got to get a couple more things in for y'all. I thought it was going to be a short show. My ass, I'm not going to be a short show. And then I got to. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Where are we going on to? Okay. This is not, and guys, I don't know when I'm gonna do another show, so I might as well give y'all a little bit of stuff today, but I don't know when. And then I also say this: a lot of celebrities put out false narratives too of the community and all this stuff. So yeah, you have to understand that. Okay, so I want to talk about this before I. It's a couple of things. It says after this is about Black China. Says after making $240 million on OnlyFans, uh, Black China takes accountability and admits she was leading people to destruction. I'm glad. I'm just saying. I'll just say I don't really have too much to say. I'm always happy when people realize they leading to destruction. Afterwards, they done made the $240 million. Uh, you know, um, I mean, whatever point you realize it. I mean, you know what I'm saying. I I don't know what to make of Black China. I'm gonna really be honest with you. You know, then I don't know. I still see the need to be out here. Let's see. They say this interview was done a couple of years ago too. Let me look, pull it up here. Her and Devon Franklin. Let's see.
Yeah, it took a lot, and it just really took me being truthful to myself, just with like the lifestyle that I was living, the things that I was doing, how I was affecting people in a positive way or a negative way, like the influence and all of that. And I had to take a step back and think about like, okay, for example, if I'm doing OnlyFans and people are seeing that I'm making so much money, that's going to influence them to want to go and do OnlyFans. And the backlash of that is, God, that's not a good thing. That's not godly. So when I'm being judged, I have to speak up and take accountability for me leading people to destruction.
When you are fully immersed in building the Black China brand and the OnlyFans opportunity gets presented, at that point, before you had maybe a crisis of conscience, what was your point of view at that point?
Why did it?
Yeah.
To be honest, at the time, I always told myself that I wouldn't even do anything that would degrade myself. Because I was a stripper for 6 years, and that was
Hang on, y'all. I got something on the screen.
was a lot. That took a lot of years off of my life, and I feel like I missed out a lot too, because I was just literally going to the club at night, sleeping all day. So I told myself now, like, obviously, since I am this person, that I wouldn't even go back into like that type of lane. Because why would I? Because I had my businesses, which I still do. I have my businesses and all these different things. But at the time, I was in a really big lawsuit. I was in a really big lawsuit, and I'm like, the amount of fees that them lawyers,
right,
them depositions,
it ain't
all
cheap.
That stuff, it ain't cheap. And I had to tee up.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just do this OnlyFans. And if somebody don't like it, they just don't like it. And also too, it was always like that scary thing, like, oh my God, like somebody's going to expose like whatever it is that I'm posting. So I was very mild with the things that I was posting. And then also too, I was using a company that would erase anything if it did try to go into like the full internet. The biggest thing for me is, you know, when you get to a certain point just in life and things like that, and you're getting money, you're getting recognized for things and all this and that, you're not praying as much as before because you're getting everything. And then it's just one of those catch-22 things. And as I'm still going through my journey, I realized, man, like the devil was giving me all this stuff, of course, because he doesn't want me to go and ask God and pray. But at the same token, when I was getting everything that I wanted and that anything that I could desire, like having access to different things, here comes the negativity that comes with it. So it's like, I'll make 200,000, right? But then here comes the lies and this and that. from lawsuits or fighting this or
okay. Here's what I'll say. This often happens, even on a low level, with people. They change their life. They get tired. They go to church. They just be like, I'm tired. I've been out here hoeing too long. You know what I'm saying? And it's good. Whatever brings you to God, I am for it. God, you know what I'm saying? We are humans, okay? Whatever brings you to the knowledge of God, or that you need something different in your life, is fine. But it's the change that's important. It's the change of character. It's the changes, and it's hard. That's hard. And that's hard for humans. It's hard. There's a great scripture in the Bible that Jesus told a wealthy man. A wealthy man said to Jesus, what can I do? I think I forget what and I often like to use Jesus for those type of things, because he was such a great teacher in that area. Okay, let me see if I can. Okay, this is what he said. As Jesus was starting out on his way to Jerusalem, this is from Mark 10:17-31. Not that I know y'all be saying, listen, I am not. I just love the biblical things, because I think you can use them to change your life. I think Jesus was actually one of the greatest. Not only was Jesus a preacher, teacher, but he's just a great motivational speaker to motivate you to do the right things, values, and ethics. Okay, but it says as Jesus was starting out on his way to Jerusalem, a man came running up to him, knelt down and asked, "God, good teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" He said, "Why do you call me good?" Jesus asked. "Only God is truly good. But to answer your question, you know the commandments. You must not murder. You must not commit adultery. You must not steal. You must not testify falsely. You must not cheat anyone. Honor your father and mother." "Teacher," the man replied, "I've obeyed all these commandments since I was young." Looking at the man, Jesus felt genuine love for him. There is still one thing you haven't done," he told him. "Go and sell all your possessions and give the money to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come and follow me." At this, the man's face fell, and he went away sad, for he had many possessions. Jesus looked around and said to his disciples, "How hard is it for the rich to enter the kingdom of God?" This amazed them. But Jesus said again, "Dear children, it is very hard to enter the kingdom of God. In fact, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God." The disciples were astounded. "Then who in the world could be saved?" they asked. Jesus looked at them intently and said, "Humanly speaking, it is impossible, but not with God. Everything is possible with God." Then Jesus goes, Peter says, "We've given up everything to follow you." Jesus replied, "And I assure you that everyone who's given up house, brothers or sisters, or mother or father, or children or property for my sake, for the good news, will receive now and in return 100 times as many houses, brothers, sisters, mothers, children, along with persecution. And in the world to come, the person will have eternal life. But many who have the greatest now will be the least important then. And those who seem least important now will be the greatest then." Okay. So what Jesus was saying, this is a very important thing I say right now. And I'm not saying I don't know where Black China is on her life and everything like that. But this man said, "Hey, I've been obeying the commandments. I've been doing all that right stuff, Jesus. I've been good to my mama. I ain't committing no this." But what Jesus was like, you have a love of possessions, a love of things, a love of give it all up if you want to follow me. And he's like, "What? Jesus, you got me bent." And that was Jesus finding what his thing was. And then the disciples was even amazed, like, "Jesus, wait a minute, you don't want nobody to make no money out here. What we gonna do? It's kind of crazy." And Jesus said, "Hey, yeah, this is hard for rich men, because rich men are attached to their stuff. But with God can change anybody's mind. God can change you can start having to developing a consciousness and stuff like that. Okay. Hopefully, it's easy to say, I've done all these things, I've done these things, but it's in how you choose to live afterwards that your character, you start to retrain who you are as a person. Like Black China, in her everyday life. I mean, is the OnlyFans still up? Is we still making money from OnlyFans? You know what I'm saying? There are things you do when you begin to change. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but yeah, but sometimes you're called to give up your wealth and your assets and stuff like that. It's just whatever that. And I believe Jesus was saying something to him beforehand too. That lack of intimacy with God isn't just about doing those things. It's about where your heart is in development with God and who and what you and it's such a great lesson, you know, what you possess, what's more important to you, what's really the treasures of your heart, really, you know. So my thing with Black China is this: some people have given up things, and you see them begin to have a sense of struggle. Now, I'm gonna tell it. Now, the minute you try to change up like that, you know, if the enemy that gave you a lot of stuff, he gonna try to take your shit back. Oh, that's the first thing the devil gonna do. The first thing the devil gonna do is try to take his stuff back through lawsuits. Like she said, she gets to have lawsuits and everything because he like, this is my stuff, and so you sometimes you have to reacclimate yourself to a new life. A lot of times what'll happen is you see people giving up everything, like Peter them said, we giving up everything to follow you. We didn't gave up a lot, and he said, hey, Jesus said, you can't just think of this world. I got another world that is to come, but also you gonna get things back in this world for doing the right thing, but it also comes with hard stuff. Having values and ethics and morals comes with persecution. Sticking up for the right things in this life ain't gonna be easy because this is the world. We live in the ghetto. Ghetto. When that girl said this earth is a ghetto, heck yeah. Okay, and so for sometimes having ethics and morals, like he said, people in this life, some people will have more, but he said, but many who are the greatest now will be least important then, and those who seem least important now will be greatest then. That doesn't mean you can't in this life live a life of excellence and character and do great things in this life. But it's saying the people that you think, the people who have decided, you know what, my values are more important. The person who said, you know, I you know what, I know I can get this movie role you about to give me if I suck a couple of your dicks and all this stuff. But you know what? Check this out. I got values, I got morals, I got ethics. You know what? I believe the power of God. I'm not gonna do that. That mean you perfect. You know, you might have messed up in another area, but you might pay a price where you see another person you knew she was doing dirty. You like, you got this ass, so she moving on up beyond, and you like, dang. But you held to your values, and you ain't been moving up. God said you would be rewarded for your value. And listen, a lot of people who got all that stuff, they be sad. They be, like I said, the entertainment business sometimes breeds a bunch of drug addicts, drunks, entitlement, all kind of things, womanize, all kind of stuff. Okay, it is what it is, and it doesn't mean that some of those people aren't fit to change. But that's my thought about Black China there. Okay, with that situation. Okay. So, are we coming down to the end, y'all? We coming close. Let me see. What else I need to talk y'all out? Okay, Fabulous say a baby is a stronger commitment than marriage. Oh God, I can't even play such foolishness. That's because you don't know the order of things, and no, listen, women, you know why you know that's a lie. There are plenty of women out here raising children by themselves. Having a baby is not a strong commitment, does not breed a strong commitment. There's plenty of daddies done walk away. Matter of fact, back in the day, the old folks used to say, mama's baby, daddy maybe. Meaning daddy gonna walk up and out of here. Mama's take on the full brunt. So if you let some man talk about to commit to a baby, a strong commitment than marriage, that's a lie. because they know that without a marriage, they could just walk away. They ain't got to take care of you and your baby. You got to go down to the court and get child support on their ass and everything in order. That's a lot of work that you got to do in order to get them to be committed to something they don't want to be committed to. Babies does not breed commitment. And Fabulous is stupid. I mean, well, I can't say that. That's not right. He's mentally challenged when it comes to this certain things. It's not true. Okay, people can walk away. But people can walk away from a kid. Okay. Speaking of that, the game. Y'all, there's more from the game and Shanice's show this week. It was with their podcasts, where Shanice and Evelyn had the game on. A lot of y'all was asking me about this one. I'm going to share it. I'll tell you my thoughts on it. Let's listen.
It rang true. Remember I told you I don't change diapers? Have I changed one? See, she don't like that shit, by the way.
No, I really feel like if you have a child and you are more than able, your hands are working, your fingers are fine, you have no arthritis, that you are more than able to help and wipe your child's ass too, if you can wipe your own. Because when he's 50, let's say, what are you going to be, 112? Yeah. You might need someone to wipe yours.
I got Harlem.
Yeah. And God willing, he does it. But did you wipe his? Yeah, this is all, it comes around.
Yeah, but I did tell you I don't change diapers from the beginning, before he was born. Did you think it was going to change? Like I would actually flip and do it?
I did.
And it rang true. Remember I told you I don't change diapers? Have I changed one? See?
Okay, so this is very important. A man will tell you his value system if you sit and listen to him long enough and don't jump in the fucking sheets with him. As much as you be wanting to with some of them, because some men you be like, "Ooh, he's fine, oh, girl, Lord have mercy." No, listen to his game. Said he told her. He said, "What you think I was gonna change? What you think I was? I'm telling you, I ain't that committed to no child that I'm gonna clean no. I'm gonna change no diapers." No, what Fabulous was talking about, just being committed to a child. See, Gang said he don't even change diapers. I ain't changing no diapers. And then somewhere in this interview, he was saying to them, he glad that the kid got them. I was like, okay. I mean, and then there's another part of the interview where Evelyn asked Shanice, well, if you get married, if Shanice gets married in just say the next year or so, check this out. And I wish I had that clip, but I don't have it. I didn't put it up. If she gets married in the next year, how are you going to co-parent and stuff like this? He said, well, I know with who I am, that won't happen. Uh-oh. See, he's created a concubine here because he knows most people are going to be intimidated by the fact that he's the game. And he even goes on to say that, listen, he put this poor girl in a trap. And I can't say Shanice, you was old enough, you should know better. And Evelyn know the fucking game, but Evelyn probably maybe couldn't have told your ass shit. It's sad to listen to her voice shake as she's seeing it. Like, I can be as pretty as everything. It don't even matter. This motherfucker's like, you thought I was going to change? You thought I was going to change? I told you I wasn't going to change no diapers. I told you I ain't gonna do this. I told you. She said, well, I think you should be. That's not his value system, dear. His value system is not that he believes in putting into children. You saying, hey, when you put into your child, if you do the right things by your child, hopefully they will take care of you when you need taken care of. That is not his value system. He can't see himself in that place. He doesn't hold the same things as you do in putting into children. And like he said, a very valuable thing. He said, what? You thought I was going to change? You thought I was playing about that? Trust me. A man is showing you or telling you who the fuck he is. Just give it time, boo. Give it time. Sit there and give it time. And just watch. That's all you gotta do. Really all you gotta do is watch. When he he can come with you with the sexiness and be like, and it might be tempting, you know what I'm saying? But if you fall down in that bed, make sure you wake up with your eyes open. It's hard to do it once you done got sexed up, though. I tell you girls that it's hard to do it once you done got sexed up, okay? And especially if they done, they turned up, flipped it, rubbed it. Oh no, shit. Okay? That's why I say give them some time. That's why men are often talking so fast. That's why they talking so good. They trying to talk you in the bedroom real quick. Because then you become disillusioned. They know you at the disillusion state once you put, especially if they good at what they do. They know they didn't put you in a disillusion state. So they have to say whatever the fuck they want to, and you gonna keep ignoring what they are because you're gonna try to project on them. Some of you don't even need sex. You just project on their asses anyway. Okay. Listen, a man shows you and tells you who he is. The game said, did you think I was going to change? What, you think I was going to change my mind? Well, I ain't changed my mind. Girl, it's still what it is out in these streets. I still ain't coming over there and wiping that baby's ass. Okay? Which tells me he probably does. I mean, I wonder if he's really hands-on. She sounds so frustrated. And what she's finding is she's got an 18-year-old, 18 years of, probably doing it mostly by herself. Hard price to pay for one night, huh? It might have been really nice that night, too. It probably was smack it up, flip it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't thinking when it's the smacking up, flipping, and there's actually out there like, I thought you would. Well, yeah. But no. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, no. That's why you stop and listen. You let a man talk. Okay. I loved it. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you who a bad girl is. Lady London. You want to see how Lady London? She let Cam sit there and talk. She was the one being interviewed, but she let Cam sit there and tell her. First of all, Cam was attracted to her. Jazzy Cam liked her. Okay? He just can't get her probably because her level is so high up. He really need a girl like her though, to be honest, in his life. But her level is so high up, she ain't gonna put up with no bullshit that Cam Newton's out here trying to sell. Okay, but listen. Let's just sit there and just let him. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And he's just thought when I'm having a relationship, she's like, really? Well, I feel that way too, but blah, blah. And she would be in the middle of the thing and dropping dimes. Like when she said that, people have appreciated me, but not both appreciated and respected. Or I forget the word she was using, but I was like, girl, you better talk your ish. And Kim was like, so you so out of his league, he didn't know what the fuck to do. Like, shit, I'm so out of my league. Girl, the only reason that man didn't get on that woman because he can't get her. He sure wanted her though. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, so I'll just say, what I loved about watching her, Lady London, is that she let Cam sit and listen to Cam. She let Cam reveal himself. Let the man reveal himself. Let them reveal themselves. And ladies, I'll tell you another thing. Well, like one friend was telling me, when you say let him reveal himself and everything and blah, blah, blah. Well, what if he doesn't really like to be always around me. He doesn't always want to be on the phone and, or getting to know me or blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, was he just trying to always get you in the bedroom? Well, no, we have a good chemistry there. I don't care. You blind. Listen, let it go. If he can't take you somewhere where you can have a conversation, if he can't, if he's so busy trying to hide himself, that tells you everything you need to know. Now, this same friend we was talking about So what my friend finds out, she goes through the situation. I told y'all this story. She went to a thing and found out he had an ex-girlfriend at an event he had, and didn't invite her. That's all you need to know, baby girl. He got mad at her for breaking up with him. He got mad. What you mean? That just happened to be. She a part of what I do. She part of what? Nope. I said, I was so proud of her. I said, shit, you did the right thing. I know it hurt you because she liked this dude. She liked him. But I'm like, girl, what you got to do? You got to dump that. You know what I'm saying? And like I told her, I really think what he was really doing, this is my personal opinion, because men do this sometimes with her. He was trying to, she has such beautiful energy, she's so sweet and kind and everything. And I think he was trying to siphon off her energy and siphon it towards his girlfriend who didn't have the same energy, his ex that didn't have the same energy as her. So I think sometimes men will get into relationships to siphon energy off of you in hopes of transferring it. No, that's a spiritual thing, but that's another thing I have to talk to y'all about. You know, they be trying to destiny swap with your ass in a relationship. Oh yes. Men will destiny swap. They will be in a relationship with one girl whose values and ethics and morals and things they appreciate, but meanwhile be in another toxic relationship with another woman who they really don't appreciate her values and stuff, but she looks the part or something to the part they like or something, and the other girl maybe doesn't, you know, is a little more naive to games and stuff like that. They will siphon off of you. I've seen many good women go down because the man has siphoned off of them and transferred their energy to another person. Try to do a destiny swap with two women. Don't let them fool you. Oh no. Okay, I'm just trying to tell y'all. Don't let them play them games. You ain't good enough to come to the fucking party. I ain't good enough to come fuck you. Right? That says it is what it is. And she did the right thing. He was mad. Oh, well, you're not right. You give me. I had nothing to do with that. It don't matter. Was it your party? Like she asked him, was it your party? Well, yeah, but I didn't have no. Was it your party? Boom. There you go. Boom. I said, there we go. We ain't got nothing else to say, boo. Was it your party? All right. Get your ass out of here. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So ladies, that's what you had to realize. Realize these men be showing you. They show and tell. Show and tell. It's a game I play. You know what I'm saying? When they tell me, I really, girl, I really like you. You really are that. You beautiful. You batting eyes at you and all that. What's his actions doing? Man, he don't really never invite me out to nothing. He don't really. I have one little young friend. She's a little young girl. I love it. So she was trying to tell me she's out there playing, she's dating around, everything like that. And so she's been in a serious relationship, got a little serious relationship. And I thought she's too young to really, at this stage, I thought she should date a little bit more and stuff like that. But she had been really serious with a boyfriend for having about 3 years, something like that. And so it's the other little boy, gazing at her and he wink, 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 and all this stuff like that. So the other little boyfriend, he more loyal to the little boyfriend she got. It really is a question. Like I told her about her, it's really more about her than it is both of them. But it also is a lesson in discernment because she was like, oh, the other guy, he's so this, he's so blah, 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 blah. And he was cute. He was real cute. He runs circles around her little boyfriend. Who I thought, at the time I said, maybe you need to be free a little bit, but I didn't. She had to break her, find her out that her life and herself and come to that in her own time. She had been with this little boy for many years, for a little while, And so the other little boy never gives her like anything. He just be talking ish. Yeah, every time you see her, hey, you look cute tonight. You look cute. Thank you. You look cute too. But your man, he's at home. Oh man, I get to talk to you a little bit. I mean, he's just talking shit. I was like, So she like, what you think? I said, I think that if you want to stay with your boyfriend right now, you better let this little charming ass talk you the fuck out of your panties and your thing. Stop. Well, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, you about to. You need a mommy like me, like women were mommies to me. I'm gonna be a mommy to you. Nope. Yeah, but I said he ain't, he's charming. I said he is not making no move. I said, girl, he ain't made no move. Well, has he asked for your phone number or anything? I know it, but every time I see him out, he's always this and that. I said, he probably got a girlfriend. Shit. Calm your little hot ass down, okay? Take your little hot ass. If you want that little boyfriend of yours, stay with your little boyfriend. Okay, little boyfriend. If you want to stay, you just want a relationship. Even though I don't think she should be with a boyfriend, I think she should be kind of finding herself. But if you keep your loyalty, because this motherfucker is playing games. Hey, and every time he's right in on her, and I say he's just fucking around. He a little older than her too. He's about 4 or 5 years older than her, so he's playing fucking games. I said, shit, I hope he ain't even married, but he zones in on her. She's in her 20s. He zones in and like, yeah, you looking good tonight. Oh, yeah. Thank you. How you been? Yeah, here. Blah blah blah. I said, girl, he ain't putting no action. Ain't no action showed up. All he doing is talking up shit. Talking up smoke in the room. Don't even just be like, you can flirt. Be like, you know what, boy, you look good too. Good to see you. All right. You know what I'm saying? He ain't working. He's throwing up illusions. He's throwing up magic tricks. So I had to tell her. So you know what it said? She got it. Don't let nobody play motherfucking magic tricks in your face. And people love magic tricks. I'm doing some disillusion. Here I am. Boom. Here I'm not. Which, so, ladies, this is what the game did to poor Shanice. I don't know if he even threw up a motherfucking magic trick. He didn't get a chance to throw up a magic trick because she was probably in the bed with him before he could throw up a magic trick. It was probably easy to get the poor little pretty. She's so beautiful. She thought she thought the beauty was gonna beguile him. But he got all kind of beautiful. It's all kind of girls out here. Oh, God, stop it, women, okay? Last show the other day. Okay, I saw this wonderful, and I'm telling y'all to go over and
she don't like that shit.
I love her. Listen to her commentary. She's one of my favorite people who like her. I love her to listen to her commentary. But you guys can go over and listen to it. I'm about to go. I have to get y'all. Oh, Sherry got canceled. Sherry Shepherd show. I said that was gonna cancel. I said 2 to 5 years. I did say 2 to 5 years. Somebody told me I said 2 to 5 years on the podcast, so I was right around the range. I thought I said 2, but it's 2 more years past this due date. I was not surprised. I hate to see anybody lose a job, but I can't say I'm surprised. I did say this. I called this. Is Jennifer gonna be next? And I hate to see, I ain't being hating. I'm just saying what I say. Okay, but I love this young lady to listen to. Her name is Ask Tiffany T, but she has a really good, I'm gonna just let y'all hear a little bit of it, but go to her page and listen to her. It's Ask Tiffany T, and she's talking to women about zodiac signs and the men in the zodiac. And I thought she was pretty good at what she was saying. So I'm gonna let y'all hear a little bit.
I want to talk about the zodiac. The male zodiac. Let me just say this. If you're not interested, or if you don't believe in horoscopes, zodiac signs, any of that, you shouldn't be commenting on this video. Okay? I don't believe in all that. I think which is Aquarius, Gemini, heads up or a blueprint on the personality traits or characteristics of a man. Understand, check his zodiac. You will find out a lot about that man before you start to deal with him, if you know his zodiac sign. So let's get started. I'll start off with my zodiac sign, the air sign. I'm a Gemini. Air sign men, which is Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Understand, if you are a woman that's really needy, if you needy, clingy, you have you insecure, that is not the type of man for you.
Okay, so she's talking about the air signs. And I also think that you should pull a chart. I really do. If you really like a guy and stuff like that, please pull a chart. I believe in pulling a chart. It doesn't tell you everything about a person, but it can give you some deep things. Okay. You go over, listen to this whole thing. It's very good. It's mostly spot on. I disagree with, she says Scorpio men can be cheap. Water signs can be cheap. Depends on Scorpio and Pisces men. If a Pisces man has the money, if he has it, he's not cheap. But if they're, when they don't got it, they'll be little worker bees for you. Okay, though they will. Okay, because Pisces will sacrifice in some sort of way. Okay, but for the most part, if they have it, if me and Pisces men have it, yeah. And Scorpio men, I've never met a cheap Scorpio man. Now, was she right about emotional? Hell yes. Okay, she said a lot of great things, and y'all should check it out. And she says great things. Did I agree with her about Geminis and everything? Of course. Listen, if you got a Venus in Gemini, if your man got a Venus in Gemini, a Gemini, Aquarius, a damn Libra. Oh, Libra. Oh, Jesus. Oh Lord. They supposed to balance the scales, but a lot of them don't. Okay, let me tell you. Listen, I even tell women, I say Venus and Gemini, I be like, woohoo. And I'm a Venus and Libra, right? So they say, Venus and Libra, Venus and Gemini I can, but I sit on the cusp of Virgo. But listen, baby, they say, Venus and Gemini, I like it. Let me tell you something. The Venus and Geminis, though, they so spurty around. And Gemini suns, all air signs. Okay. And that's why they say water signs beware of the air signs, because water signs, we believe in loyal motherfucking tea. Okay, so so even if we don't sometimes hold up the value sometimes ourselves, but that's Scorpio's about that life. Especially when they read. And then I always tell, I had a friend who was messing with a Gemini who was a Scorpio. I said, girl, the fuck, wait a minute now she don't got a lot of Libra in her chart like me. Okay, now I said that's not a good thing, because what I'm saying, because I got a lot of Libra, I act more like a Libra. I'd be like, I have to take your ass to leave you, because I got a lot of Libra even in my love placements. I'm like, the fuck, I'm a cardinal sign in that area, in certain areas, but I'm still a Scorpio, but I'm a cardinal sign in a lot of my certain areas. So Geminis here could touch and miss to me. It's like, what I'm saying? But for her, she had a Venus in Scorpio. I said, that Gemini, you gonna kill that Gemini. Oh, girl, now we got Kim. He's out of this and he's in the bed. I said, nope. You do not need it. I'm telling you right now, sis, that Venus in Scorpio is not, you better pull a chart on his ass. He had a Gemini sun, a Sagittarius moon. Y'all know where I'm going with this Sagittarius moon. His Venus was in Gemini. I said, bitch. But he was sitting, one of his signs was sitting in her, his Mars sign was sitting in her 8th house. I said, bitch, that's it. Okay, nope. You about to kill him. You gonna kill him. You better move out. Don't take no more. Don't take it. Just think of it as a friends with benefit. Stay away from the penis. Stay away from that dick. Stay away, because you're a Venus and Scorpio. You're a Scorpio sun. You're gonna kill him. He's gonna be flighty. He's gonna be like, I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to be. And your Venus and Scorpio gonna be like, bitch, I will blow up your motherfucking house. Because the Venus and Geminis and them Geminis. Oh my God! And he was sitting on her 8th house, my baby. Mars and 8, my poor baby. I told her, I said, girl, don't do it. Mars, listen, she was acting crazy after a little while. I said, told you. Stay away. This lady is right about pulling a chart on these people. Pull a chart. She would have saved herself a lot of time. She would have, before she even went to bed, she would have been like, or she would have been loosely associated with him by sleeping with him. She could have had the experience and said, okay, I understand. He's about to be running wild and out in these streets. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing to not do to an air sign is attach. Like attach where you you looking like you want too much of commitment. Depends on what they got in their chart. looking like you want too much of a commitment. And I love what she said about the Leos too. Like you always, she said about the fire signs, you always got to play games. You always got to be hard to get. Damn sure. So you got to see what's in people's chart. Really, you do. But this, I told her what was going to happen because that Venus, her love placement is in Scorpio. Okay. And I said, you obsessed. She became obsessed easily with him quickly. The sex was good. Everything he looked at the sex, she couldn't make the difference between sex being good and soul merging. She thought it was a soul merge. And I'm like, no, he can't merge. He ain't gonna merge. Look at this chart. He gonna be going out here. Oh my God. It was a hot mess. That's how you gotta look at chart. Okay. Hot ass mess. Look at the zodiac, please. What everything she said, earth signs, about earth sign men like to be your daddy. Oh my God, yes. Virgo men, Capricorn men. Oh my God. It's so true. It's true. She's on point. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. On point. Look at Kim. Kim probably is acting more like Jazzy's daddy. That's why he likes kids. Yeah. And they all have different ways about them because Taurus is the sign, is like the sign of the other side, part of Venus is ruled by the other part of Venus. Libra is ruled by Venus, and so is Taurus. And it's from two different aspects, okay? So you have to, one is on the downside, one is, I forget what they call it, the downside, one is on the upside. So you have to really understand the disillusionment and love that happens, especially when your Venus is in certain places and stuff like that. And for Venus and Mars placements, it's different with men and their reactions to certain things. Men with, I also tell men with that Mars and Pisces, they easily attract, and love is just like, they like disillusionment in love. Okay, I always tell people that's Mars and Pisces. They like to be attracted into foolishness. They like to be butterflies and always in attraction. Music playing, birds are singing. And the minute you start, this is my personal opinion, you start to ruin the mystery for them. Like you start having real serious life problems. They like, oh, they turned out because they don't really want no real relationship. They just want to spread around. So the warning signs I would give women is to look at the charts in depthly, not just, she gave a good overall thing of the sun signs, but look at they chart. I always tell people warning signs, and here's the warning signs for me. I always used to be, when I was out there, I say Mars and Pisces, because that sits in my 8th house, that Pisces, I'd be like, and that Mars is the sign of attraction. Mars and Pisces is always a word. Them motherfuckers. Mars and Pisces. Venus and Gemini. Venus and Scorpio. There are other things too, placements too. Mars in Aries, because they can be too fiery. Sometimes they can be violent. I mean, everybody has a trip in the zodiac can be violent, but you just have to see what's what. And sometimes it can tell you about domestic violence issues if you look at their chart good enough. If they might be controlling, possessive, or all kind of things, okay? Now, to me, people often overlook the sign of Gemini with being controlling in terms of the men. The men can be very controlling. People overlook it. You know why they overlook that about Gemini? And this is why I'll tell you why they overlook that about Gemini, because they come off as such a free spirit. But no, if they like you and everything, they can be very controlling and be pissed because it's really weird, because they can be controlling but want to still sprout around. They still want to be free. but they are be controlling about your ass as you turn to get. So you have to, that's a sign, with the Gemini men, I noticed that more so. Okay. Taurus men, definitely to me have control issues, and Scorpio men too. Okay, but in the different ways. Okay, but yeah, definitely look at those charts and understand those charts. That's all I'll tell you on that. So we come to the end of the show, y'all. I gave y'all a full 3 hours. Hell, I wasn't planning on even doing that shit. Okay, I got shit to do. Get ready for this cruise. Okay. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope you enjoy. Happy February. Okay. And if I don't talk to you before then, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you guys have a good one and wish me safe travels and a fun trip and all the good things. I'm only receiving good energy. All the rest of y'all bad. You got bad energy, go back to you. All right. But everything you guys have a good one. Remember, you can hit me up at the Carlotta Chat with Facebook page. You can hit me up also on Instagram at Carly's with an S_Galaxy. There is a link for Threads if you want to go on there. You can follow me there. Also, you can follow me on X at Carlotta72 and see Chat with Show. And on TikTok, it's Keisha Carlotta. I am out. Y'all have a good one. And wait a minute, I didn't even put your little. Yes. And go check out Ask Tiffany T to hear that whole thing. It's so good. Okay. And that's it. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. And that's it. Bye-bye. Let me leave y'all with some little electronic music. Daydreaming. All right. See y'all.